You didn't quit. You're really like against all odds. You're doing something that no one in the family's done, that none of your friends have done.
I'm just gonna say the thing you're not supposed to say.
Whatever is mine is looking for me.
You have to know what road to take to get to your final destination.
Everything that you ever wanted is on the other side of fear.
Hello, good evening. So today is my birthday, and look, I got these beautiful. They're so cute. Hold on, can you see them? Hold on. Oh, let me remove the cord. I don't need y'all. I don't need the internet in my business. Okay, y'all see them? Aren't they cute? Oh my God, they're so gorgeous. I love them. They're so cute. Okay, let me put the cord big. Okay, we're good. We're good. We're good. Okay, so thank you so much. Y'all are my phone has been blowing up. Hold on, let me turn this down. Let me turn it off. Okay. Thank you so much. This really made my day. Your girl is 34 years old, 34 and flirty, if anyone's wondering. And I'm just so happy to be older. My mother, she's still here with me. And I feel like that is my biggest and greatest gift that a girl can have because I didn't know if she was going to be here this birthday. So I'm really grateful for that, the absolute most, like honestly. So thank you to all the birthday wishes. If you want to send me a cash app, send me a cash app. Send your girl a cash app. Show some love. I may go catch a drink later. I'm really trying to slow down though. I'm really trying to slow down. I may get a drink later. I may not get a drink later. I don't know. But if you want to send me something, send me something. I would really appreciate it. So let's get into the EJ Johnson situation. I thought the internet was exaggerating a little bit until I actually went and I watched the full interview because I like to put things into the full perspective, make sure I have the full context and all of that. I mean, what I would does he need to be in a straight jacket? Does he need to be submitted to a psych ward? Uh, I don't think he's of harm to himself or others. I don't think it's that serious, but I see where the internet is coming from. So, if you did not know, EJ Johnson has been making headlines recently for a rare candid interview with Carlos King. I want to say Carlos could have pushed back a little bit on some of the things that he was saying. Okay, just I felt like he was fangirling so much that he gave no pushback. And sometimes that doesn't really make for a good interview. And I'm not saying, make the person you're interviewing uncomfortable, but challenge them just a little bit on like their thought process. And I wish Carlos would have done a little bit of that throughout the interview. So he went on the podcast Carlos King or with Carlos King where they open up about their evolving identity, dating life and the nuances of their public personas. And they kind of I don't know, Carlos, I don't know. Did anyone feel like Carlos was kind of like it kind of gave Kiki Palmer. Remember when Kiki Palmer interviewed Shelly and Olandria, and we were like, "Girl, where's the interview?" It's kind of given that Kiki was worse, but very, very, very thin line between those two interviews. So EJ talks about identity shifts, new label, his dating preferences, which I found that to be interesting, and how he's attracted to straight men. Interesting. EJ also talks about navigating the Black community and facing criticism. So, one thing that I want to point out when it came to this interview, and I say this all the time, and I feel like the reason I'm talking about this isn't just because EJ is going viral for some of the craziest things that I've ever heard, but mainly because it spoke on identity, and he spoke on identity, and he uses a lot of therapy language, but it doesn't seem like he actually applied it to his life, and we're gonna get into why. Of course, y'all know I did some research and I looked into his sister that was adopted. I had to look to see what the girls were talking about that. So one thing that I want to highlight when it comes to this live is that parts of ourselves we deny, and we tend to project those parts that we deny onto other people. And I feel like that is EJ. That is EJ Johnson. The parts that he denies when it comes to himself, he tends to project it weirdly onto other people. But it's not in the way of I'm projecting this like self-hatred. Like, you ever been around those people where they're complaining about their weight and then they just shame all people their size? It's not like that. It's actually a little different, where EJ puts people down because there are parts of himself that he still denies. And listen, he is a Nepto baby, and the reason why he hates it so much is because, this whole shadow of being in his father's footsteps and things like that. The reason why he hates it so much is because his father is a man, a very tall, masculine man. So let's get into that. So the whole Nepto thing, I was like, it's really given. The reason why you hate it so much isn't because people see you as privileged. That's the part of the lifestyle that I think EJ loves, because there were some incidences within this interview where I'm like, it's given you inspired by white women. It don't even seem like you inspired by your own mother. It don't seem like you inspired by your auntie. It don't seem like you inspired by your sister. It seems like you inspired by white women. That's what he gave. It doesn't even seem like he's really inspired by the women in his family. It's very strange. And remember when Cynthia G came out with the whole black male pathology? This is self-hate, and it looks differently. But what's so crazy? When men hate themselves, women are their targets, their biggest targets. When men do not love themselves, when they have like that deep rooted self-hate, they make us their biggest target. It doesn't matter if they're heterosexual, and it doesn't matter if they're sexually fluid. It doesn't matter. It just seems like we're the punching bag when it comes to them hating themselves. And I would really like to see someone just do a deep dive off that alone about why that is, and why there's a parallel when it comes to black heterosexual men and when it comes to gay men, bisexual men, gay black bisexual men, gay or black sexually fluid men. Like, I just bisexual men. I just want to see, like, what is that about? Why are we always the punching bag, or like they want to attack us? I need someone to explain that to me. So let's get into, it's really crazy, isn't it? Isn't it crazy? Let's get into this video. That's just something I noticed when I was researching this video. I'm like, damn, it seemed like we always the punching bag. It don't matter if the man is straight. It don't, and then his mama was in his life. It's crazy. I'm like, what is that about? And the reason why I didn't blame it on his mother or anything like that was because, well, he hates himself. He has a mother. He has two parents. But because he hates himself, he still blames women. It's very strange. So he still has like this hatred towards women. I don't think it's hatred. I think it's really, the right word is resentment. He has resentment towards women, but he doesn't seem to have it towards his mother. So I don't know what that's about. I'm still trying to figure that out. So let's get into this interview. I want to start with his identity, because that really lays the foundation for this interview. Let me see.
World. as a young boy?
You know, honestly, like it's very.
You've already figured that out.
I mean, it just like I think I just like learned through experience. To me,
Yeah.
and it's like I had a lot of friends who I thought were my friends, you know, over the past couple of years who had to go because they just like did not have the the best intentions for me, not pure, totally wanted their hooks in, and like I had to wake up and I had to get to work, and I just been like, okay, all of you have just got to go. Like I'm not even playing. Like I'm not even like, oh, maybe no, you gotta go.
Yeah, yeah. I really want to go back a little bit because I want this interview to be just about you.
Yes.
Do you know?
What else is there to talk about?
Yes, because I really just feel like when it comes to you, there's a lot of people who just don't know much about you. So I would love to spend this hour, with that intention.
Absolutely.
So who was E.J. Johnson growing up, California? Obviously, your father is Magic Johnson. Your mother is the beautiful Cookie. But like, you're the oldest. Who were you growing up in that world as a young boy?
You know, honestly, like it was very difficult. And, I talk about a lot about this, like with other people, growing up, in all the bougie, elite schools that I went to, and like all of the children that I went to school with in LA were, industry elite. So everyone somebody's parent was always doing something, even if they just had money for the sake of having money. But it's very difficult to be born in someone's shadow. It really is. And like, no one talks about that right now. It's like, oh, like, the industry is glamorizing, the Nepo babies, but at the same time demonizing it too, because then everyone is mad that like, they think that we all have like a leg up or something. But honestly, like it is very difficult to come into the world, and what you want doesn't really matter because it really only matters what plays well for whoever the spotlight is on. Yeah. And that was very difficult to navigate as a child. And even as a young adult, honestly, it was weird. It definitely took a.
The reason it was so weird for him, and I don't know if he even realizes it or maybe he doesn't want to publicly admit it, but it's because his father is a man and he doesn't want to be seen as a man. He doesn't want to be seen as a masculine man. He doesn't want to be seen as his father, really. He wants the lifestyle, he wants the money, he wants all of that. He wants the attention that comes with being in his father's shadow and things like that, but he doesn't want to be seen as his father. So that really shaped a part of his identity in a way. It maybe even hindered him in ways because he probably felt pressured to live up to that expectation when his identity just wasn't that. It wasn't his father, not in the sense of Magic Johnson, just in the sense of his dad is a man. So, and I feel like it added more pressure to him because his dad was Magic Johnson. You know what I mean? So there's like two layers. It's like, oh, I'm in my father's shadow. He's a man. And then not only that, it adds when we speak of who Magic Johnson is, it adds another huge layer to the challenges when it came to his identity, which shapes a lot of things. Like it shaped certain insecurities, it shapes certain triggers, which you'll see later in this interview that he gets a little triggered, especially when the Black community is brought up and the criticism he faces from the Black community, which has a lot to do with him being tall, a Black male, and him being seen a certain way and the expectations that comes with that in the Black community. And again, it causes issues, it causes internal struggles, being at war with yourself, because a part of him felt like he had to deny his identity, and then a part of him hated part of his identity because of his father's shadow, because of his father's footsteps. And so it kind of put him between a rock and a hard place of I love my dad, my parents, I love the lifestyle they provided for me, but the shadow that comes with my father is one that I don't want to feel because he's a man. And it's like people can't just erase the fact that he's Magic Johnson's son. It's just something that I believe he's still struggling with.
A lot of time to just like find myself and all of that, and then just be like, okay, like your spotlight is over here and mine is over here, and like the only thing I have to do in this lifetime is focus and nurture me and what's going on over here, and you do that over there. But yeah, like that was a lot for the child, but like like I was always just running around, prancing around in skirts and doing the most, as a kid. And like I think I found a lot of, even at those young ages, I found a lot of security just like hanging out with myself, because like it was just like a very awkward coming into my own and trying to find myself in a world that kind of like told me that like I wasn't allowed to like exist the way that I wanted to exist.
And that's another layer of trying to exist in a world where you're considered not normal. So, like, he has 3 layers of adversity when it comes to his identity, his father's shadow, and then who his father is. And then also the third thing is like who he truly is deep down is not normal. So that's what he was up against when it comes to his identity. I'm pointing this out because I need you to stick with me for later in this video about where it all ties in towards the jealousy with his sister and why he puts women down, or he feels the need to put women down. These are 3 struggles, 3 very serious adverse struggles and challenges that he's had to deal with within his childhood. Now, listen, just because we do deep dives and I explain things to you beyond the surface, it does not mean I excuse a person's behavior. I'm not doing that. But I am giving you an explanation from my opinion and my perspective of why this person may operate and behave in the way that they do, because then that kind of puts things into perspective for you to not take it personal, to not get triggered by the things that they say and things like that.
So I gained a lot of self-confidence just like playing by myself, because like that's where I felt safest. And it ended up, ultimately like being one of my greatest attributes, because like now it's like I'm like this with myself, and like no, I'm unmovable, unshakable, invincible. You cannot upset me or do anything, externally, because I'm 100% right here.
When did you realize you were gay?
Pretty early on, honestly. Like I don't even I wasn't one of those people who ever tried to be straight. Like I talked to a lot of, like obviously the gays that are, either that I grew up with or like ended up being friends with, but like I would say like 90% of them, had girlfriends or lost their virginities to women, and like I really never tried. Like it was it really, like, it wasn't an option. I don't think I would have taken myself seriously even at that young age, to be honest. Like I could never see myself as like dating a girl. Like I don't even think I could. That's what I'm saying. I couldn't convince myself to do it, so therefore I was like, girl, you can't convince the world to think that for you. But definitely like 11, 12.
Oh,
for sure.
Okay.
Like right when, you start to have those feelings and stuff. But honestly, I think like the feelings were just so strong that like I just kind of like knew it. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, probably like the 8th grade, like the summer before I went into high school, like I really like got serious with myself about it. And we are like, this is it. It's like, I don't know, like I just was kind of like, this is who we are. I remember that like very specifically, like just like taking like those last couple of weeks before I had to go back to school, and I was like, this is it. And then I felt so much freer. Like when I got into high school, like I just was like so much more like definitely coming into my own, because like at school, like I just like didn't care. Like I didn't hide it. I didn't pretend. Like everyone knew and everyone was cool, and it was cool.
And the first person you told was your mother, correct?
No,
This was
definitely
a family.
friends, definitely my friends.
Yeah.
But no, my mom kind of like interrogated me when I was like in 10th grade.
Do you remember what she was asking you?
We were on vacation in Hawaii, and she was asking me because like I had another friend who came with me, and he's also gay.
And another thing too, throughout this interview, he refers to himself as Miss Thang. And I believe that is an armor. It's a protection shield for his self-esteem. And he calls it confidence, but really it's arrogance, because there's like an overperformance when it comes to his confidence. And when people overperform confidence, they're not really confident. Confidence is natural. Confidence is embodiment. It's not a label. It's not a personality. Like it's an energy. It's just something you embody. So you can always tell when someone is overperforming within their confidence, which really comes from their self-esteem, when they feel the need to put people down, when they speak highly of themselves, and they can come across like very arrogant. Confidence is quiet because really it's something that you embody. It's not something that you really say. It's not really something that you just do. It's not something that you wear. It's an energy. It's something that's either it's in you or it's not. And when you become more confident, it's like a energetic shift within yourself where you feel confident, and then it just starts to show on the outside. So the more you work on yourself, the more you do your shadow work, the more you will embody that confidence. And I highly recommend Vanity Work, because Vanity Work is where you embody the energy, because you're affirming yourself energetically through a mirror where you're making that connection with self and you're also speaking certain affirmations over yourself. So vanity work is like the best place to really embody like real confidence and not the fake stuff. So, and I'm not saying makeup and stuff. I'm actually saying talk to yourself at your vanity to build that embodiment when it comes to your confidence instead of putting stuff on or taking stuff off.
Um, or I should say attracted to men. I don't really use those kind of labels on myself anymore, but we were just checking all the hot guys. I mean, we were doing what the girls do. They were everywhere, and we were, talking and looking, and she noticed, and then she was like, I think this is probably something we should talk about, like what's going on. And I was like, well,
And another thing that I want to point out too is EJ, I don't know if he realized this, and this is where his internal patterns come from. Like he tries to present himself or assert himself like he's confident, but there are some internal patterns that just don't make sense. Unresolved internal patterns. And one of the main unresolved internal patterns that I noticed throughout this interview was anytime it it's a label about being gay or male, he hates it. But you could label him feminine labels. He loves it. But any like masculine labels or anything like that, he hates it. But then he tries to make it seem like he just hates labels when really he hates the labels that identify the truth about who he really is. He was born a male. Like that's just the fact. But if you label him anything close to him being born a male, which is a part of himself, whether it's a past part of himself, but it's a part of himself that he still denies about himself, it's like an acceptance thing. It's like he doesn't want to accept that he was born a male. And so one thing that I noticed is that this is an unresolved internal pattern that he has where he won't accept the fact that he was born a male, even though he wants to pass as a woman. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Two things can exist at the same time, but you can't hate yourself into a new version of yourself or a better version of yourself. You actually have to love yourself through that. And how do you love yourself through that? You transform. So he's done the transformation on the outside, but he hasn't done the inner transformation, which is self-acceptance, which ties into your self-identity. He is born male, so that is still a part of him, but that doesn't have to be how he presents himself. Two things can exist at the same time when it comes to your identity. So you could be born a male, but you can still present yourself as a woman and they can coexist. And you don't have to hate one or the other to have one exist at one time. So I think that that's something that he struggles with as well. He doesn't know how to accept that part of himself while still present and exist as a feminine woman. That's his choice. That's what he's choosing to do. I'm not going to argue with people when it comes to how they choose to present themselves in society. I could really care less. But I'm saying when it comes to him and what he's struggling with that acceptance. You were born a male, even though you don't want to pass or present yourself as one. And that's okay. I don't see anything wrong with that. That's okay. But the issue is that because of this unresolved internal pattern that he puts it on other people, meaning he puts women down and he always feels the need to put women down in order to feel confident within himself because deep down he won't accept the fact, just accept that he was born a boy. He was born a male. That's it.
I think this is it. This is what I like, you know? And I think she was like fine in the beginning, but then I think it took her some time after that. Cause like, she was like, it was just weird because it was, she had her church. So it was like a lot of going against like what she had been taught. And I think that for both of them, it was that kind of a struggle because they were not people that know how to think outside the box. Like they're not, oh, this is new. Oh, this could happen. Or like, this is okay. Like, we can adapt. It was very like, they're very strongly like, okay, like this is how it is. And this,
He put his own parents down in this interview because, again, he feels the need to put people down in order for him to feel confident in his choices, to feel confident in his identity, his lifestyle, and who he chooses to be within his adulthood. So instead of, I probably would have worded it, my parents didn't understand who I was at a young age because I was just born different. And it's not that they don't know how to think outside of the box. It's just that's an area that they never had to think deeply about because they were born conservative. They're Christians. They were born in a black family, like all of those things. But it's not that, oh, they just don't know how to think outside of the box. I feel like that's unfair to say, considering your parents and you know them better than we do. I don't really think it's that they don't know how to think out of the box, outside of the box. Obviously, they do because they have accepted him in the way that he is. I don't ever hear him say, my parents don't accept me. So it's kind of unfair to say, oh, my parents don't think outside of the box. Again, putting other people down to feel confident in your choices. It's just, he didn't have to do that.
This is black is white, and this is this, and that's that,
Mhm.
in a lot of boxes. And so I think like I really came up against all of that, like, in my coming of age story. And to be honest, like I never saw anything wrong with it. Like I never thought anything wrong with anything that I did. Like even when I was a kid and like they were like, well, you can't wear skirts. And I was like, well, why not? It's like my inner being was like, there's nothing wrong with this, especially if I look cuter than any girl does. Like, what's the problem? Like, what's the issue? And that's exactly how I apply it to myself to these days in the way that I present, like in my feminine regalia. I've always been a feminine being, and like that's just like how I best express myself. But I'm like, listen, I'm out all the time, and like I'm killing a dress and no one else is. Like the girls in the room are not doing it. Like they don't look cute. They're not dressed to any nines. So,
I love it. You know what's so funny? Because
Now, what's so funny is I was clocking this with your other fave and y'all was dragging me about it. Cause I clocked this with Shelly too. And y'all were dragging me about it. And I'm like, I'm sorry that she keeps putting other people down and she's soul sisters with Olandria. I'm sorry that I'm just peeping that. I'm just peeping it. He does the same thing too. Like he feels the need to constantly compare himself to others. And we're going to get into his sister because it doesn't, this is so deeply rooted that I don't think people understand how deep it really goes. But he has like this comparison jealousy. And if you don't know what comparison jealousy is, it's basically, let me pull up the term so I don't even butcher the definition, because I want you to know exactly what comparison jealousy really is. Comparison jealousy so comparison jealousy in psychology, it is often referred to as a social comparison envy. And we all know what envy is. And it's the distress or resentment that arises when we measure our own worth, success, or life circumstances against someone else and find ourselves lacking. So deep down, he feels he's lacking. So when he feels the need to constantly compare himself to women, but put them down to make himself feel better. So one of the signs too of someone struggling with comparison jealousy is they carry a very sharp tongue. So they use wit, which he just used, and they also use criticism to the level of um they use criticism to put you at an even playing field when it comes to how they see you versus how they see themselves. And then they try to poke holes in your happiness and things like that. So he'll poke holes in the fact that you're a confident woman and you feel good about yourself, but I'm better than you. So it's comparison jealousy is what he's struggling with. But I also feel like he struggles with that with his own sister as well, that it doesn't stop.
obviously, so our parents are from Michigan. So your story I can relate to. And again, I'm obviously much older than you. I could be your older big brother, but I
I
can
think you're
relate.
almost the age as my brother.
Oh,
Are you 40
yeah.
something? Yeah, he's
Yeah. Okay.
40 something too.
So,
Yeah.
so I get it, but I have this theory because my father, and I've said this publicly, and he's fine with it because I have to ask permission because I was like, I don't want you to think I'm gonna use my platform to blast you, and we're fine. But he was very, very much so like close-minded, born 1949 in Detroit, Michigan, and was like my black son, and I'm one of six.
You see how Carlos said closed minded, whereas EJ said they don't know how to think outside of the box. Those are two, and that's what I'm saying is Carlos is saying the same thing that EJ is saying, but it's in the way that he says it that's very minimizing and it puts others down. So he doesn't just do it with his sister, he actually does it with his parents. He tends to do it with anyone that's really around him. So some would say he's snobby, but it's just, I don't know. He constantly feels the need to put others down whoever he's around. And Carlos did it in a more, to me, respectful, compassionate way, even though he probably still has some trauma from his father. But he basically just said that his father was more just closed-minded, and then went into explaining the times and how his father grew up. And that like puts a lot more into perspective than just saying my parents don't know how to think outside of the box. You get what I'm saying? Am I making sense?
I have 6 brothers,
Wow.
and it's 10 of us total,
Wow.
right?
Oh my God, that's just like my dad's family.
So I'm saying it's so parallel. So he was just like, so I knew, unfortunately, that my femininity was not going to be accepted. And I have this theory about black mamas, because I feel like black mama know their kids, child. And although I came out very late, I came out at 25.
That's not that bad.
Well, you know, because
Yeah.
well, nowadays, you know, the girls are coming out, baby, at 7,
Yeah.
right? Which I'm like, go right ahead. But my mom, very sweet, rest in heaven, she was like, you sure? And I said, girl, you knew. And she's like, well, didn't want to assume. And she was like, you gonna tell your dad? Because he's been asking about it ever since you were 5 years old. He asked me every year. And I'm like, I'm not telling him. So I didn't tell him so much later. But I can relate to you in terms of like having parents who just wasn't really sort of like, who got it. But when it comes to you, obviously, you're not just any kid. Your namesake says it all. Did you ever feel like the sort of like image you have to uphold being the namesake of your dad?
I think that's what they tried to teach me. That's what I was raised to believe that. But especially now, I'm free of all of that, because like I said, it's like I've totally ripped myself away from anyone's namesake besides my own, you know. And I don't even, EJ Johnson specifically is the only person that I'm fully responsible for and fully looking out for, you know. And that has given me so much peace. Like, you have no idea. But I think in the beginning, especially like even when I'm stepping out into my own spotlight, it was still like a lot of that, of trying to put me in that box, as trying to make us like one unit. And like, I think I used to get really annoyed with that. And I hear about a lot of that, you know, too, from other kids who are in the same predicament. And it weighs on them heavily mentally, because it's like, you know, you can't find yourself when you have to look at your own life through the lens of somebody else. And so, yeah, it was definitely like, I was brought up to believe that, but I definitely ripped myself away from that and let him do him, and I'm doing me.
How did you feel when TMZ outed you back in, I want to say it was like 2013? And because when you think about it right now, it's so inappropriate because...
Yeah, it's very funny. It's funny because it's like, it definitely looked at now would be like highly inappropriate. Like, you could never out someone like that. You know what I'm saying? But to me at the time, it was just like, it just happened. Like, I don't know, like it was one of those overnight success moments. But like, I was ready because I was living my life. So it wasn't like I was hiding anything. Like, it wasn't scary in that instance to feel outed in that way, because I was living my life to the fullest. Like, I was like totally like out in the sun, you know, doing what I do. So like, that wasn't, you know, like, it didn't like hit me to the left because of that. I mean, obviously I would have liked to come into the public in my own way, would have been nice, but you know, I don't even think about it.
That's good though, because I remember at the time, and again, this is back in 2013, which of course seems like ages ago, but it was such a big deal.
I was just trying to figure out, when was EJ ever straight? I don't remember him ever, people assuming that he was ever straight. Did I miss a chapter? But I just like, that was like huge news. Was it? I don't remember that time, but I'm just like, I don't ever recall him ever being straight.
And
that's also one thing I didn't understand. I was like, why is this such a big deal?
It was, so you, well, again, I'm glad that you have distanced yourself from that moment, but I remember, and again, in 2013, look, I believe I was openly gay. Like, I think I was, actually.
I mean, according to your math, you would have been.
Right, I'm like, I think I was. But I remember being like, wow, this is number one, inappropriate. But I also remember...
That's really interesting that you picked up on that. Because I feel like nobody did that until later, I think.
And I think a lot of it for me is being in the Black community and just knowing how dangerous at that time it was for us, because I grew up at a time where, you know, being outed, it is dangerous, because if you're not ready, you can't deal with the ramifications that comes along with it. So I just remember, looking at you.
Even the people who did it on their own accord never went much further in their careers at that time, especially those athletes. Like, they were like, okay, and then wiped away.
That's
like
true.
completely and
I didn't
utterly.
think about that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that basketball player
Yes.
and that football player.
Yes. I
They
remember.
were like, "Oh, you think you're gonna play after this?" No, like totally dismissed. Because I've met both of them. Both of them were very nice, but it was like they had that 5 minutes, but it's like, you know, the industries didn't allow that to continue.
So one thing that I wanted to highlight was EJ is very adamant about separating himself from a past persona, which again, it has everything to do with the expectations of his parents. So it doesn't really sound like he has healed from the reactions and the criticism he received from past experiences. And also like he has this hyperfixation on not being something. So he felt the need to kill it off. When you feel the need to kill off a part of yourself, that's not healing. Like that is actually trying to manipulate yourself into believing that that part of you is wrong or that something's wrong with that part of you, when really if there's a part of you that you don't like or you want to get rid of, you don't kill it off, you don't cord cut it, you actually transform. So there's no need for you to kill a part of yourself off. There's just a need for you to transform and to level up. So when he's trying to separate himself from the EJ Johnson, which was the EJ Johnson that his parents wanted him to be, it's not something that he really should have to distance himself from. It's just something that he would have to transform away from. And I don't feel like he's really been successful at that. And a lot of it has to do with his attitude. It has to do with his personality. It has to do with his aura, like the type of atmosphere that he carries. It's not very welcoming. It's not joyous. There's no, I don't know, spontaneity. It's more predictable, snobby. I look down on people, and it's just not a good personality to present when you're trying to separate yourself from the expectations of your parents. It would be easier for him to do if his transformation or his transformed version was likable. I don't even think that it has to do with him wanting to be a gay man. I think it has to do with his personality within itself. And I think that that's something that he refused to acknowledge, like take some criticism. I'm not saying you got to take everything that's out here because some people are homophobic, but I'm saying like the snobby side of your personality, I think you should take that criticism in. And I think people would be more welcoming of you. And it's not just the fact that you're gay and man and you're EJ Johnson and you're 6'7". It's really just the attitude. It's the attitude. It's the personality.
Continue.
No, especially back then. I mean, look, I think even like now with the show Heated Rivalry, have you seen it?
I saw the first episode. Yeah.
You know,
It was a little, I mean, like, it was a little like softcore for me. Like, I was like, okay. I mean, you know, I think it's like cute for the culture for sure.
Mhm.
Like, I think especially like the young kids, like they love things like that. Because I used to watch that I watched the Heartbreaker series on Netflix, which was so cute.
Mhm.
But then I was like, and then like what was the Victor? The one on Hulu?
Oh, like Love Victor.
Love
something.
Victor,
Yeah.
yes. And I was like, oh, this would have been great.
Yes.
When I was that age, like to have that as a kid, a teenager, like a young, you know, a kid, like would have been so nice. But I had oh my God, Noah's Ark. That came out when I was like 12 or something, and I loved it. I loved every moment of it. It was so pivotal.
Yeah, shout out to Patrick and Pope.
Yes, I love him.
No, he and I are friends, and I said to him too. And at this time, I want to say I'm in my 20s, and I just remember being like, finally, there's something. And that's why when I saw you in 2013, I felt for you, and I felt how inappropriate TMZ was, but I also said, bitch, work. Because, baby, fashion, the labels.
I don't even remember what I was wearing.
And it was something in black, but you know what it was? Even then, I mean,
Carlos, why are you sitting up here lying to this man? Why? Look,
I'm telling you, being that girl is all about being prepared, ladies and gentlemen. Be prepared. Just like Scar from The Lion King. Be prepared. You gotta be prepared. Okay, I love this look. This look is so dope. I mean, again, this is like a total, like, I didn't even think it was gonna be this bomb. Like, kind of like pat myself on the back because this bitch is.
now listen, this is no shade to the gay men that are out here, because listen, I know some gay men that can dress. Okay? I follow a few of them. They can dress well. They look like they smell good. They be oiled down. And I love it when they be wearing the those open shirts. Ugh, it's like 70s fashion. I like it when men try to they show like their bare chest a little bit. It's a little on the more feminine side, but I like that. I like that. And I feel like there are plenty of gay men that can really, and I mean really dress. Like really put it on, put it together, and it make it look good. And then I also love it when I see like gay men that kind of do like the feminine masculine look. I really love that. But when it comes to EJ Johnson, I'm sorry, like it just doesn't give that. Oh, Bretman Rock is a great example of that. But EJ just doesn't give that. I'm sorry. It just, and he wants to be like in the fashion industry, and he wants to be a fashion girl. And there are plenty of gay men in that industry. They dominate. They can, like, a lot of them dominate that industry. But I'm just like, EJ just doesn't give that. And I don't know why. Because how is it that you are, I mean, I'm sure you got other gay male friends, right? I mean, and if you're in the fashion industry, the girls, they should be helping you out. That's what I'm not understanding. There's no way that you are EJ Johnson. You are in the circles. There are plenty of gay men that are stylists I can think of. And I'm just like, why are you walking around like that? You don't have someone that you could talk to. And that tells me that he doesn't get along with his own people in from his own community. Cause ain't no way. I be seeing girls, they be having the gay best friends, they hair be looking good, nails be looking good. You know what I mean? Like gay people, gay men do not play about you looking a hot ass mess. So I'm just confused. Like, who are his friends? Who are his friends? I really want to know.
Doing it, honey. We don't know where we're going again. Like, I mean, this, like, her boyfriend's a rock star. You know what I'm saying? We're definitely not standing with the rest of in the mosh pit, but like, she's in the VIP somewhere for sure. This is so everything. I'm loving the silhouette of this, actually. Like, the hourglass silhouette, I mean, the cutouts, but like, this definitely needs a pant. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've worn this dress, like, just as a dress, and it was a little too revealing, like, a little too much, but like with the pant it just really sets it off because it looks more like a tunic anyway. The leather pants just gives it the perfect amount of edge, and we love the pump elevating the entire look all the way up.
I hate the shoe. I hate the shoe. I hate the shoe. I like the dress. I just feel like this could have been better executed. I don't know, some barrel jeans maybe. I don't know. I don't know. And it, you know, I get he doesn't want to wear a super high heel, but I mean he could get some mules, pointy ones that are kind of short with some barrel jeans, and then he could still wear this top. This top would still be cute, but I, I just what are the pants and the shoes? I don't like the pants and the shoes. I'm sorry.
Fashion week. I mean, I have to style it maybe with that Saint Laurent. Should we see with the Saint Laurent leather jacket? I love this vibe a lot. Oh, I actually did. I wore this before with the white thigh-high Intricato Bottega boots, which was really dope too. I don't think she needs a jacket. Like, I love it. I love the silhouette so much more.
Zippers at the bottom? No.
For even Fashion Week,
No.
spring or moment. It was with me
No.
a lot of different places, and this is like a cool, safe choice. But Himalayan Crocodile is also doing well. Croc on croc. I think this is definitely more of the vibe, though. I'm loving the croc. I think this is just like the bag is easier, but I always go back and forth. I always have like two options when choosing a bag of just like a cooler. If I don't feel like pulling like a real look, then there's a bag for that. But when I feel like pulling the whole look or being extra, there's a choice for that too. It's.
I'm sorry, but no. No, and don't be saying it's giving auntie. Auntie could dress better than that. The rich aunties are doing it. They doing it different. We not about to put that on the rich aunties. Because he rich. No, we not about to do that to the rich aunties. That's
Lord, I hope they're not gonna watch me walking.
that's something that's something else, sweetie. I'm sorry. That's not rich auntie.
To this hotel. They are ooh, 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 killing you hoes.
He listen, that don't make no sense. No. As many of the girls I've seen, I'm talking about like the Ari Fletchers, the Jada Waiters, and things like that. Listen, They hair, they nails, everything be laid because gay men be really taking care of them for real. So I'm just confused. I'm really confused. It makes no sense to me. Seriously, y'all, for real. For real. You know, if a gay man is in the clique in the group, all them girls about to look good. For what? Like, what do we? First of all, because they're very honest and they're gonna be real with you. That's number one. So I'm just not understanding EJ. I'm like, sir, where are your friends? It do look cheap, and then it's like, how do you make something like that look so cheap?
You have it now still, and I love that it never dissipated. You always just had this extreme confidence about yourself. And I was always curious, like, where did that come from? Because again, for a lot of Black gay men who try to be themselves, we don't have that confidence oftentimes. But then for you, I'm like, he's in the spotlight, and you to me, you owned it, and you grabbed that torch, and you haven't like blown out the fire ever.
I don't know. I think I
Be looking good.
like I said, I was like, I think I spent when I was used to hang out with myself a lot. I'm just saying, like, I really, you know, really got to see myself fully, which is such a powerful gift. And right now, I mean, like, and even now, it's like I see myself like completely clear. You know, like they have that saying where they say, you know, other people can see you better than you can see yourself. But like when you can see yourself better than everyone else can see you, you win.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I always felt
He put people down again. Because I know y'all gonna try to come for me in the comments about how Yoni, you I feel like you taking it a little too far. I feel like you reaching. And I'm like, no, like he does it a lot, obnoxiously. He does it a lot. I'm like, so people don't see you at all? Like they have nothing to see in you at all? I'm not saying that people know you better than you know yourself, but I mean, like, it's just the way he words things. It's the way he words it. So let me go back and replay that again.
myself fully, which is such a powerful gift. And right now, I mean, like, and even now, it's like I see myself like completely clear. You know, like they have that saying where they say, you know, other people can see you better than you can see yourself. But like when you can see yourself better than everyone else can see you,
When you can see yourself better than what everyone else can see you, I would have worded it like, I feel like how others see me isn't relevant. You know, like I'm only focused on how I view myself, and that's it. I'm not really concerned about how others view me. You know what I mean? Like something, but that is so. And the reason there's an issue with that is because when we get into this, straight men are attracted to me, that little comment that he just made will make sense later.
you win.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I always felt, and I always saw myself better and like in my truest form, kind of a little bit better than everyone else. Now it's like completely better. The clarity is like through the roof. But at that time, I was still, you know, quite young.
So because he sees himself as a straight heterosexual woman, he expects for straight men to be attracted to him because that's how he views himself. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm getting at? The unresolved internal patterns, it all leads back to his mindset and also how he views himself. How he views himself is a falsehood of his identity because he has a lot going on. Okay, first of all, he's overdoing it with the confidence. He's not really confident because he feels the need to put other people down. Then he feels like he is the only one that sees himself in his true form, which it's like, okay, that can be true. However, people are also going to see you and they're going to see you from their own perspective, and you may not like it, but it doesn't mean that you aren't who you present yourself to be, right? But people are always going to perceive you a certain type of way. Like that's just the world that we live in. So so he wants everyone to see him as a straight heterosexual woman, and he expects for heterosexual men to find him attracted and to be attracted to him. It sounds crazy because it is. It actually is crazy. It is when you say it like that and you put it into simple terms like that. It actually is crazy.
But yeah, like I mean, I enjoyed being fabulous. Like when I was in college, that was my college time, and like we dressed up and we went to the club and we went to the, you know, the most fabulous parties, and that's just like, you know, who I was. Like that's just who I always loved to be, you know, and like that was just very like, you know, of that time. And I mean, you need the confidence, definitely needed the confidence to survive, you know? Now you can just have it, but at that time, it's like you really needed it to like survive.
And see, he uses his confidence as a means of survival. And when you're in survival mode, you're very defensive. So he's not in his femininity at all. He can claim that he is, but the only way that you can truly be in your femininity is through healing. You can't be in your femininity and be in survival mode. So if your femininity and your confidence that's attached to your femininity is all based off of you have to protect yourself, well, that's not real confidence. That's defensiveness. And you're using that as a shield because of criticism that you've received, which is very unfortunate. And you did not deserve that. You know, I can reason with you on that. However, the way you're presenting your confidence is defensive and it rubs people the wrong way. And that's the issue, that some of the criticism that EJ gets isn't because he's just gay and male. It is because of his personality. It's just how he talks sometimes. It's the way he words things. He doesn't seem to understand how he comes across to people. He doesn't have a good level of self-awareness, which makes sense because he believes that no one sees him better than he sees himself. But really, he only sees himself in the way that he wants to see himself, so he doesn't take in any criticism from anyone. So that even pertains to his personality and how he rubs people, and so he doesn't even consider that. Like, nothing can get in because his confidence is his protection. Yeah, it sounds crazy as hell. It sounds crazy as hell. Okay. It do, but that's the unresolved pattern that I'm seeing when it comes to EJ. I'm like, okay, and this is strictly my opinion, but it all connects. It all connects. His confidence is his armor, it's his protection. And then also when it comes to his how he views others, he he doesn't want to be viewed in the way that they view him. He doesn't want to accept that at all. So because he doesn't want to accept that at all, any constructive criticism, which I believe constructive criticism is to build you up, not tear you down. So the type of criticism he should reject is the shame, right? It's the bullying that he should reject. But the constructive criticism he should be open to, but he's not open to that at all because he only cares about how he views himself, and how he views himself is linked to his confidence, which is linked to him protecting himself, which is linked to him being defensive, which is a trauma response. So the therapy language in this video is great, but it doesn't sound like he applied it.
For sure. Because otherwise, like, you know, everyone's just going to like walk all over you or, you know, like make fun of you or do whatever. And, you know, I think it's just really important to, you know, to do that self work, to find yourself, especially when, you know, you're not living in a conventional way or the way like society says that you should.
Is that when the E?
And I'm going to talk about this too, because sometimes your self-worth can be stagnant. Sometimes your self-worth can be stagnant. And I believe that EJ's self-worth is stagnant because he's emotionally stuck. And the reason why I'm picking that up is because he doesn't have a good level of self-awareness. People that are emotionally stunted or are emotionally stuck don't have a good level of self-awareness, and they don't have emotional intelligence. So his self-worth is stagnant because of that. So EJ is looking to be respected and accepted from outside validation. However, he's impatient about it. He's frustrated. And at times I feel like he can be seen in a way to where it's necessary for him to put women down in order for him to feel worthy. And this is why his self-worth is really stagnant, because if he really was embodying this self-worth energy, he wouldn't feel the need to look for the respect from outside validation and all of that, and he wouldn't feel the need to look for self-acceptance from outside of himself, and he wouldn't feel the need to put women down in the process. So women wouldn't be his target. And that's just where he's currently at. So his self-worth is stagnant. Even though he claims that, you know, he went through some type of identity shift, when we dig a little deeper beyond the surface, beyond the therapy language and things like that, His self-worth is stagnant. So, and another thing too that I noticed about EJ, he puts a massive effort into his aesthetic and public brand, but deep down feels he's not enough. So he feels the need to prove that he is this feminine woman, that he or radiates feminine energy and femininity. And it's something that he's really trying hard with. So he's trying to force results. Now, the results he wants to see is the acceptance. He wants to pass as a very feminine woman or a very feminine man or just a feminine person without the labels because he doesn't like the labels. So his underlying insecurity is worth, which is tied to his external presentation. Like that's huge. Like the whole fashion, wealth, rather than internal stability. Like he doesn't have that internal stability. He's really truly relying on the outside validation. I also feel like he's relying on the fashion industry to give him that stamp, because if he gets into the fashion industry and he's accepted among some really big names, like he would also get that validation as well. Like, hey, see, look at me. They accept me in the fashion industry, which is a female dominated industry. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. And this is my question for you all. And this is my question, not for y'all, really is for EJ. How how does he expect to be well known in a female dominated industry when he doesn't respect women? Like when he feels the need to put down women? Like how does he really expect to be welcomed into the industry with open arms from a genuine place? Like people see him as inspiration, so they want to work with him, they want to collaborate with him. How does he really expect to be embraced in that way if he's putting down women in the process, but he wants to fit into a female dominated industry? And see, this is where the delusion is coming in, and this is why, like, I understand why uh the uh the internet is saying that he needs to be put into some type of psych ward, because that makes no sense to me. So he's looking for emotional validation through aesthetics and branding, but who do you think is going to give you that validation? It's a woman. So if you're putting her down, majority is going to be women. So if you're putting them down, I mean, first of all, if brands or designers want to work with you, they want you to inspire women. Why? To buy their product. That is what that is. But he's like, it's almost like he's shooting himself in the foot, because it's like, okay, how do you expect to get those offers, ma'am? How do you expect to get those offers, ma'am? Okay, it takes more than just being the aesthetic and being the brand. It's more than just an external presentation. It's more than just fashion and wealth. And then he's really stuck between a rock and a hard place. And I can see why EJ Johnson hasn't really taken off in the way that he could, because he doesn't want to use his father's name to get into these spaces, because he doesn't want to resemble a man. He doesn't want to be tied to that image. Remember I said that, like, it's more than just the lifestyle. It's also the fact that his dad, his name comes with being seen as a man, and he wants to distance himself from that just completely, which shows his self-hate in a way too. But also, another thing too when it comes to this is like, okay, well, if you don't want to use your dad's last name, then that means you have to be nice. That means you have to respect women. That means that you have to get people to like you. People have to see you as an inspiration. If you're not wanting to use your father, then you have to use yourself. But you're not likable. So he's kind of shooting himself in the foot.
The producers called you to do Rich Kids of Beverly Hills around that time?
It was a little bit later. But that happened really by chance. Like I
Yeah,
actually, that same night, I believe that was the first night I met Dorothy. And
that's another thing too that's keeping his self-worth stagnant, because I don't want to say he hasn't done any work at all, but he could do way more work. And I feel like his self-worth is stagnant because genetically that's something that he cannot change. He can't change the fact that he resembles his father. He just cannot change that. And that's the thing when it comes to self-worth and really doing the work on yourself, you have to accept the parts of yourself that you cannot change. You can't change it. He can't change his height. He could try to change his face, he could try to change his body and things like that, but there are just going to be parts of yourself that you cannot change. And when it comes to really doing the self-worth on yourself, like the self-work on yourself, you have to understand that there are just going to be parts of yourself that you just can't get rid of. And you have to find the love and the acceptance and the worth in it. You have to see the value in the things that you cannot change about yourself. And this is something that he hasn't done yet. And I say yet because, listen, we all here trying to figure it out. So he still has the rest of his life to get to that point.
That a couple months later, I think like over the summer or something, like she was like, "Oh, we're having this pool party. Do you want to come?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And then she's like, "Oh, but we're filming a television show." And I'm like, "Okay, like cool." So like I went to her house and they mic'd me, and we just shot this pool party. Like I honestly, again, I wasn't thinking anything. I didn't even remember what I was saying. Like they were asking us to talk about our like our glamorous summer vacations. I think we had us, they set us by the pool and we did one scene where we were like all talking about our summer vacations. But to be honest, like I wasn't in, like the bigger parts of the pie. I am outside. Definitely outside. He's doing with her life at this point, but
So I decided to jump forward and move to his dating life and his preferences.
I wish her the best.
Yeah. Are you dating now?
I am outside. Definitely outside. I had to get a little more serious though, I think, in this.
Okay, so pause. He's outside. Okay, so y'all know I was gonna bring up some research because I want y'all to understand that I do be looking into things. And I came across this episode that he did. He had a reality TV show, and EXP0SED, just one season. This came out back in 2016. And oh, girl, when I tell you this was crazy, this was insane. Let me put something up on the screen. To try to help with copyrights, because hold on, let me see. I may put that back down there. Make that a little smaller. Okay, put some stuff on the screen here. Now listen, I have to cover it up just a little bit. Now, let me get my timestamps because okay, girl, this whole situation with his sister was crazy. Let's get into the introduction a little bit though.
A horrible parking job.
This is Elisa.
And this is my brother EJ.
Don't touch my head. Our dad is Magic Johnson and our mother is Cookie.
Now listen, don't be getting mad at me that I have to speed it up and I have to cover the screen a little bit because of YouTube copyrights. Help a sister out.
Johnson. He was a basketball player and now he's an entrepreneur.
We kind of grew up like not really fully understanding how much people loved him.
People would like cry.
Other people, yeah, like, when they would cry or
like freak out.
Yeah.
I think one lady fainted.
Yeah.
At the movie theaters once.
Yeah.
All right.
This is really cute. In one word, describe me.
Bitch.
No, EJ, no.
Okay, sorry.
In one. No, EJ, no.
Elisa is very fun-loving and sassy.
Comparison jealousy. Do I need to reference that again? Comparison jealousy. Minimizing, downplaying the other person. Sharp tongue. Now, of course, again, when it comes to the sharp tongue, sometimes people use wit. They use wit. But, because we're going to get into it. When you combine everything that you see in this video, you be like, oh my God, it is comparison jealousy. So that's just, you know how sometimes when you're dealing with jealousy and it be those like little slick remarks or those little jabs and you be like, whoa, like did they mean it that way?
And sexy and free. What are you doing?
EJ is He's everything. He's just everything. I don't know how to explain it. I mean, I would just, in one word, just everything.
It's Dodger baseball.
Always making them friends. Hello.
Now, listen, one thing that you have to learn about his sister, Elisa, I may be butchering her name, but she was adopted. And there's a lot of people pleasing in this episode. And I feel like it has a lot to do with the fact that she was adopted and she wants that acceptance. And I feel like she wants to, she really, really wants to have that sibling relationship, brother relationship. So there's some things that I feel like she allows EJ to get away with because she knows that she's adopted. And I feel like that plays a major role in the lack of boundaries, the lack of really standing up for herself, the lack of her feeling the need to give in to his coldness and his manipulation at times, his emotional manipulation. And we're going to get into that because he emotionally manipulates her at times. Now, listen, she's not innocent. Okay, because I did watch this episode and I'll watch the episode right after this. She's really not innocent, but I'm saying when we just speak on the dynamic between the two of them, EJ is seriously the problem. I'm sorry. Like, he really is the problem. Now, does she have some personal issues? Yeah. I picked that up in this episode and the other episode. However, when it comes to their dynamic as brother and sister, he really is an issue. I'm sorry. We just got to call it what it is. We got to call a thing a thing. And then look how he's dressed. They're dressed very similar. So he has the knee-high boots on. She has the knee-high boots on. She has on shorts. He has on shorts. He has this oversized baseball jersey on. You get what I'm saying? Okay.
Thank you for having us. Of course.
Not you.
I just wanted to bring a few of my friends together today to go to a Dodger game as my kind of like going away party, like going back to New York.
You're in school, right?
Yeah, I'm at FIT.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Dating in New York is easier, right?
Well, no, I met my man that I'm dating now in France.
There's a man. Is he sexy?
Yes, he's fine.
He's a loser.
You don't like him, EJ?
Okay.
I met Anthony over the summer when I was vacationing.
The sharp tongue, again, the sharp tongue. It shows up a lot in comparison jealousy. Comparison jealousy is a real term. Look it up. Comparison jealousy, sharp tongue.
Okay.
I met Anthony.
So did you hear what did you hear what EJ said about her boyfriend automatically?
Man that I'm dating now in France.
There's a man. Is he sexy?
Yes, he's fine.
He's a loser.
You don't like him, EJ?
Okay.
I met Anthony over the summer when I was vacationing in the south of France. We flirted, made plans to hook up, and after that, like I've noticed that he was talking a lot with Lisa in the corner, and then the man who led me on is now like hooking up with my sister, and I'm supposed to be okay with this.
And he lives in New York.
Now listen, men do this thing where they talk to your friend first. I hate when they do this. I feel like it's rude. I feel like it's very disrespectful. And I feel like the reason her boyfriend approached EJ first is because that's typically what men do. They approach the girl that they're not really trying to get at or talk to or that they find attractive to then get at the woman that's standing right next to you. I don't know why they do that. I wish men would stop doing that. It's very rude and it's actually it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable experience. So I think that may have been the situation. But when you're talking to someone as delusional as EJ, you don't really know what to believe because on another hand, this man could have actually originally like seriously approached him at first and maybe was on the low trying to get at EJ. But when it comes to like his mindset and how he views himself and how he views others, it's kind of hard to believe his story about how yeah, he approached me first and he was trying to get at me first and he kissed me. It's like was he just being nice to you? Was he being cordial to you because he wanted to talk to your sister, or was he really trying to talk to you and was really hitting on you? I'll let you answer that. I'll let you answer that because I don't know. It's kind of hard to determine. It's basically his word versus her boyfriend's word, and that puts Alicia in a weird space. It puts her in a really weird position. Do I take my brother's side that I know low key is very delusional, or do I take this man's side that I really like, but I don't really know that well? I mean, he really put her in a weird position.
New York.
Oh yeah, he's like living.
And then not only that, EJ is very manipulative. Like he's emotionally manipulative. So it makes it hard to just take EJ's side. Because I mean, honestly, you should be able to trust your brother. You should be able to trust your brother's judgment. But I don't, it's just some of the stuff that EJ be doing, he comes across as like manipulative, criticizing. Um, he fixates on his sister in weird ways. I don't know. Like sometimes it's kind of hard to just take his word for the things that he says. And then within this situation and this dynamic, you really don't know what to believe.
Yeah, on someone else's couch.
He's living on your couch?
So Lisa is currently living in the family's apartment in New York, and it was very frustrating to learn that Anthony was living in the apartment. Like, first of all, I don't like you, and like also like you're in my living space. Like, there'll be none of that. I love it at a band when like my friends from LA, my friends from New York can just come together and like all kiki. My New York friends are a lot bolder and a little more brash than my LA friends. I think there's a lot more fashion going on. Everybody's kind of like really in your face. But New Yorkers always will tell you how it is. These are the biggest hot dogs I've ever.
Okay, so let me move on to the next timestamp because I'm not trying to get too much. Okay, copyright. So we got past the 150 and then we got to get to 523. Hold on.
Everything. Oh, thank you so much. So I'm staying in a penthouse in a hotel because Elisa's boyfriend, Anthony, is currently in my apartment and he'll need to move before I go back. Oh, right. This will be perfect for the cocktail party. I can't wait for everyone to see it.
So in this scene, EJ is staying at I guess a hotel, and his sister's boyfriend is staying with her, or I guess with them, but he doesn't want to stay at the apartment with them because he doesn't like the boyfriend because they had a thing, according to him. And so he went and stayed at like, I guess a hotel or an Airbnb or something like that.
Can I please pop this? Wait, listen. So sorry. No wait.
Stop.
So obviously this is the boyfriend.
It was bothering me. It was white and it was ready, and it was like, please stop me. And I was like, okay. Anthony is my boyfriend. We met in France. Right now, he's modeling. He just got signed in New York. He's also signed in Paris. He signed in Milan. He signed in London. He signed around the world.
Snapchat, hold the lights on.
Sometimes when Anthony talks, I'm just like, what did you say? But you are so fine, so it doesn't even matter. EJ's coming.
What, he's coming?
My party. You scared?
I'm scared. Everybody gonna have fun.
I just hope that he doesn't ruin my party over something.
Now listen, I really want to know, do y'all think he sweet? Cause you know, when you squint your eye just a little bit, you be like, hmm. I can see it. I can see it. I can see it. I can see it. So that's the thing that's kind of hard for me. And I think the sister was struggling with this very thing because I'm like, oof. Mm. And then when you see his mom, like this is what really did it for me right there. Cause you know, this was back in 2016. And I feel like back in 2016, it was harder to clock, you know, a man on the low. But now, you know what I mean? We seeing energies, and I'm like, I can see it. I can see it. I really can. I can really see. So I'm like, EJ, he may not be lying about this. And I think that that's what the sister was struggling with, like, you know. So y'all let me know. You let me know. to me, it's a 50-50% chance. And I believe that that's what his sister was struggling with.
And then he signed around the world.
Snapchat, hold the lights on.
Sometimes when Anthony talks, I'm just like, what did you say? But you are so fine, so it doesn't even matter. EJ's coming.
What, he's coming?
My party. You scared?
I'm not scared. Everybody gonna have fun.
I just hope that he doesn't ruin my party over some bull.
I think that's gonna be your birthday party. Like, he's not stupid.
I don't know how I'm gonna do this at all. It's such an odd situation that I don't know how to navigate. Because, like, I ended up really liking and falling for somebody that my brother, as of right now, completely despises because he feels like he was led on. Let's say a prayer.
Oh,
Please allow
I can so see him being bisexual. I can.
EJ to be happy for his little sister and that she's found love.
Amen.
Amen. Are you gonna kiss me?
Oh.
And I'm gonna be honest, when I watched this full episode, I don't think EJ would even know how to be happy for his sister if she really did find love. I don't think that this guy was really it. But if she really did find love and EJ found the man to be attractive, I don't think he would know how to be happy for his sister. Like, just me seeing this full episode and the other episode, I really don't think that he's in a place because he's emotionally stuck, to me. It's my opinion. And also his self-worth is stagnant, that I don't think he knows how to make space for her happiness when it comes to her love life. It's just my opinion. Okay, let's move on to the next timestamp that I have. Okay, so we got to go to 9:23.
No.
EJ, shut up.
I don't know where your mouth has been.
I don't know where your mouth has
diseases
been.
from Anthony.
Oh, do you? That's not what you were saying a few months ago.
Okay.
What?
This is a great point that he's a European man, so some of them are a little sweet. It's cultural. I actually can see that. I can actually see that. That's why I wanted to know your opinion. So that's a good point to make. That's a really good point to make.
What?
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 was that?
Oh, we're admitting that happened now?
I can't believe this is 6 months later. We're still doing this. 6 months.
And listen, I'm not saying that negatively at all. I just feel like in other countries, it's more acceptable for men to be in tune and in touch with their feminine side. Whereas here in the US, like Western culture, they deny you of that completely. You know, like, I think it is more culturally acceptable for men in other cultures, especially outside of the US, to just be like in touch. I'm not saying that they have to swing all the way to the other side. I'm just saying, like, it's a healthy embrace when it comes to their feminine side. So I can actually see that. I don't mean that like shady or negative.
6
He's
months.
still here, that's why.
I'm happy in my situation. I'm happy in my situation. I'm happy he actually really cares about me and I care about him, and he's gonna be around and he's gonna be at my party. So what do you want to do?
I don't want to do anything, but you need to understand about my feelings and how I was in that situation. I have every right to feel the way that I do. And every time that we have this argument, you try to act like those feelings need to change or need to go away is completely irrelevant, because they were not going away and they will not. I felt a whole bunch of things. I was pissed, I was angry, I felt like my feelings didn't matter. I was told not to say anything about him kissing me, but he did. It happened.
Now, I feel split about the situation because EJ could be telling the truth. That's the thing. He could be telling the truth. But this also highlights that this is what EJ is attracted to, though. Like, EJ is attracted to the straight attracted man, right? The passing straight attracted man. But at the same time, these are the type of men that don't want to be seen with you, don't want to be in a relationship with you. So he's triggered by this entire thing that happened with his sister's boyfriend, partially because of that reason, that he's not being validated by him, that, you know, we had a thing and you're choosing my sister as well, like in front of me, and you were kind of getting at me at first. So I could actually understand it from his point of view if his story is true. But then I can also understand the sister's point of view. But we don't know what the truth is, right? But from his perspective, if it did happen, I can actually understand why he's so upset about it. However, to put it on your sister instead of putting it on the man, I feel like that's the part that, to me, is just it's a little much. It comes across as emotionally manipulative and somewhat controlling.
My brother is saying that Anthony kissed him on the lips, but I 100% do not believe that.
You cannot disregard what happened to me, whether we were on vacation or not. Because
Okay,
it's
I
not.
never disregard.
Okay, yes, you do. Every time we're just talking about it 5 seconds ago, you were just like, well, it's.
And then I also wanted to, and the reason why I'm more prone to believe the sister, because I'm like, well, what would make you think that you can't believe your sister when it comes to something so serious? What because if my brother came to me about something, right? It's something serious like this, I'm automatically believing my brother. Like I don't think that my brother would lie about something so serious. So I'm like, what would make her automatically just say, yeah, but I don't believe him? You don't believe your own brother? Why? That's what I want to know. What kind of relationship do you have with your brother where you don't believe your brother like this? And when you really look into the mind and the mentality of EJ, I can kind of understand why she doesn't believe him. So I don't know. Like, you let me know. Who do you believe in this situation? Put a 1 in the chat if you think you believe EJ, and put a 2 in the chat if you believe his sister.
It's 6 months and this, that, and the third. Nothing is, but it's not. It doesn't matter. Like, that's a situation. I will never let that go. Like, I will never going to like him.
But you don't know him.
I don't care to get to know him. I always want you to be happy.
I'm not going to be happy, obviously, if like my brother is going to continuously throw shots and like continuously still be
I don't throw shots at him. I don't even speak to him.
Now that you know that this is someone that I'm dating.
No.
Now that you know,
yeah, now that
how
I know.
can you go and like start talking
But I was not talking about him. And it's also just stinky that you thought that it would be cute to date him anyway after everything that transpired. Like, you need to have had my back and have deuced him on to the great beyond. Really, that's what should have happened. The fact that you don't even see that.
And then this is my thing. And this is what I feel is kind of manipulative, right? Because I am leaning towards believing his sister. Because it's kind of wild to say, oh, I don't believe my brother. And this is so serious, right? So I'm leaning more towards the sister and her story and her truth of not believing EJ, because I feel like that says a lot, right? So so EJ wants his sister to take his side, but is it really because you are attracted to him and he didn't want you? And so you want your sister to take your side because he is not into you and he never was. And so instead of you just being happy for your sister because he really wanted your sister, instead you're being emotionally manipulative. You're coming up with this elaborate story about how he kissed you, but your sister doesn't believe you. And now you're emotionally manipulating her into taking your side in the situation when it comes to the man that was actually interested and attracted to your sister. And that's the thing that I want to know. But see, the truth is somewhere in the middle, because I'm not gonna lie, like 50% of me is leaning towards like EJ could be telling the truth. Like, that's just me being honest. Because you can't put nothing past no man. It's 2026. You better not be putting nothing past no man. So I don't want to just completely write EJ off to when he's giving his experience on their interactions. But I don't know. It's hard. And so I'm putting myself in his sister's shoes where it's like, oh my God, what do I choose? And I think what would help me is having that intimate relationship with EJ to really know for sure. And they only have that. So and that's why I'm leaning more towards the sister, because you have this intimate relationship with your brother and you don't trust what he's telling you. And that says a lot for me as someone that doesn't have that intimate relationship with your brother. And I'm trying to figure out, well, who's really telling the truth? You know what I mean? So it's kind of hard. And it speaks volumes when she says, well, I don't believe that happened. And I'm like, why not, girl? That's your brother.
It is really a reflection on the things that you need to work about yourself, because that's not having families back. I certainly lost trust in Elise after that, because like, why would I trust somebody who would just, blatantly.
And that's the thing, is EJ being manipulative, that's having your family's back. And what if he made this whole thing up in his head and it's just the fact that EJ is attracted to this straight heterosexual man and the man is not attracted back to him. And so because of that, he wants his sister to choose him over the man that's into her. You see how manipulative that is? So it's kind of hard to tell y'all, but let me know what you think.
Ignore my feelings and not care to see the side of my story. It's painful.
Okay, and then this is why, hold on, let me see if I can find it. This is why I'm kind of leaning into believing his sister. I'm trying to see if I can find it, because listen to this. This is why I love research. I get so giddy about it. Listen to this, y'all. This is crazy. Because I was like, rewind that back.
This is Sanaz. We met out. I saw a really bad bitch sitting there in like her well-known blazer, and I just had to like stop and compliment her for a minute. And then ever since then, like,
This is a friend. Now, I don't know if this is like a socialite friend, an industry friend, a reality TV type of friend, or if they're like really besties or whatever. But just listen to what he has to say.
we've just been friends.
Yeah, but when you came up to me, I was like, wait, don't we have a mutual friend?
Oh yeah, some guy that we had both been
dating at the time.
hooking up. But the best thing about that stinky man is it brought us together.
Right.
And that's what's important.
So is EJ always competing with heterosexual women? It's not just his sister, but also his friends too. And they never elaborated how that happened or nothing. They're just friends now. So I'm so confused. So you see why I'm leaning more towards believing the sister over EJ. But again, I would never put anything past a man. I'm just more, EJ's this way and the sister's this way, and I'm just leaning more towards the sister side. But and it's because of this right here. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah.
Then like we've just been friends.
Yeah, but when you came up to me, I was like, wait, don't we have a mutual friend?
Oh yeah, some guy that we had both been
dating at the time.
hooking up. But the best thing about that stinky man is it brought us together.
Right.
And that's what's important.
I just got back from Istanbul 2 weeks ago.
Y'all let me know what you think about that. Let me know. Let me know. Let's move on. Let's keep it moving. Let me know what you think. Because I was like, are you always competing with other women?
I really like. My brother really wants me to cut it off with Anthony completely, but I can't just do that because I've developed serious feelings for him.
What do you think your sister's talking
Probably about Anthony. Do you think I'm out of line by being upset?
You never even told me the story.
This person that she's dating led me on when we were in Europe together, which is the abbreviated version. He made it believe that he wanted to do the most with me just so he could come and turn up.
And then I don't trust this scene simply because all of the people that EJ hangs around, they have to be yes men and yes women. Carlos, oh my God, in the opening scene, let me see if I can go back. Let me see. Hold on. It was obnoxious how much Carlos complimented EJ. Like, you ever see someone overly compliment someone and it comes across as fake?
And I told them on my birthday, in June, that I was like, we're not doing we're not doing man, we're not doing gay. Like, and
let me see if I can.
It was very freeing.
So on today's episode of Reality with the King, let me tell y'all something. We are here with royalty.
Royalty.
And that's the motherfucking truth. Because, listen, this person has been in our lives for like almost 2 decades. And I'm so grateful and thankful that they are here so that we can like really get to know them. So ladies, gentlemen, gays and days, give it up for the iconic EJ Johnson.
I can't with gays and days. I love that.
I'm very inclusive.
That's very hilarious.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
You are stunning.
Thank you.
You are. I finally get to meet you.
Yes. We met almost a year ago now, only via Zoom.
Only via Zoom.
Yes.
And I fangirled a little bit. But now we're in person, and let me tell you something, baby. It's everything in person. It's everything. But how are you?
I'm amazing.
You look amazing.
Yeah.
Did you catch that? It's everything in person. So one thing I noticed, I think that's the only reason EJ doesn't do interviews. The reason why I mention it, he doesn't do interviews. But when he does do interviews, he does them with certain people. And again, like he has to be worshipped, complimented. I mean, to the point where it comes to Carlos. It came across fake. I'm just being honest. It came across like fake for real.
And I fangirled a little bit. But now we're in person, and let me tell you something, baby. It's everything in person. It's everything. But how are you?
I'm amazing.
You look amazing.
Yeah, it's a great way to start the new year. I'm so excited.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So listen, we're in New York City, which is I'm hearing is like your new playground.
Well, it's my new home. I live here now. So I'm back. I was here. I went to school here, but like my heart's here. Like I have never had a love affair with LA. That's just the place I'm from. But like
okay, now let's go back. We're gonna be hopping around a little bit. Okay, so I don't really trust this scene because EJ, oh, if you heard him, when he talks about his earlier upbringing, his childhood, he talks a lot about how I'm alone, I'm alone, I'm alone, I'm alone. Like he always talks about how he was alone a lot, and I'm like, damn. I mean, I understand that you had some struggles when it comes to like your identity, and I'm assuming that's what he struggled with when he was a child. I don't think it was really sexual at first. I think it was just like struggling with who he really was, like who he felt he was on the inside, and wanting to express that on the outside and not being accepted. But I don't know, like was it really hard for him to make friends with people? It doesn't seem like it. So I'm just like, why does he spend so much time alone? And I'm not saying like spending time alone is necessarily bad, but it's just the way that he puts other people down while spending so much time alone. And I'm like, is it because people can't stomach you after a while? They you get on people's nerves, you rub people the wrong way, and so you have a lot of falling outs with people. So it's kind of hard to really trust the scene here, but y'all know how I like to keep it fair and balanced. So listen to what his friends have to say.
Up and pop bottles with us, and then at the end he just was like totally up until like the point where I was like, okay, like are we hooking up, like what's going on, and just left me flat, changed his mind, and then started doing the most with my sister, and now she's dating him.
The first time I met Anthony was in the south of France when we were in the summer. Naturally, I would think that Anthony was after EJ because he was flirting so much and eventually kissed EJ.
I'm gonna write a book called Chasing the Turn Up and make.
And then his friend said naturally. That's why I was like, I don't know if I could trust that, because it's the same thing that Carlos did in his interview, where he was like in person, like, you know what I mean, naturally, and I'm like, oh my god, it just seems like in order to be in close proximity to him, like you have to worship the ground that he walks on, and you have to overperform with compliments, or he will rip your head off. Like that's what it kind of gives. So I don't know. I'm gonna play it back so you can hear what his friend said again. Naturally.
First time I met Anthony was in the south of France when we were in the summer. Naturally, I would think that Anthony was after EJ because he was flirting so much and eventually kissed EJ.
I'm gonna write a book called Chasing the Turn Up and make it about him being an opportunist.
And then I'm like, did you see him kiss EJ, or is that what he told you?
Just called social climbing for beginners.
Or that. All I'm asking now is I reserve the right to not like this person. So please stop telling me, like, grow up or move on. Like, it's been 6 months. Like, I don't care.
Who's telling you that?
She is. She tells me all the time. Yes, I cut up because I was really upset at the beginning because, like, my sister didn't have my back when I needed her to.
Now, listen, one thing that I have to be honest and 1000% real with you about, his sister is a little delusional. Just being honest. The sister is a little delusional. I said she got her issues. I didn't say she was perfect. I never painted that picture. She does. She has her issues. So when she forms a likeness for someone, does she have, it seems like she has like this anxious attachment style, because there was this whole situation with her ex, and she wants to be really close friends with her ex, which is kind of weird. But then you want to date the new guy, but then when you're dating the new guy, you invite your ex to your birthday. That's a lot. That's a lot for anyone. And the ex and the current boyfriend are at your birthday. It seems like even if EJ is telling the truth and the situation did happen, the friend was a witness. It's kind of hard to tell if the friend is a witness or if the friend is just repeating the story that EJ told him. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell. But if she deep down did feel like EJ was telling the truth and believed EJ and the friend, she would still stay with him because she has like this codependent type of relationship. She even talks about it. I don't know if it was in this episode or the other episode, where she struggles with being alone. And she talks about that. She went to her church counselor, but I don't think that this lady was certified clinically. I think she was just in some type of like Christian counselor. And of course, she had a talk with her and then they prayed about it. But she does struggle with being alone. So this is why I'm kind of split 50-50. I'm like, the friend is coming across like a witness, right? Then on the other hand, EJ's female friend, I'm like, do you be out here like competing with women on purpose, or you just happen to bump into these men that are just like, you know, down low dealing with women still? It's kind of hard to tell, y'all. It's kind of hard to tell through a reality show. It's hard to tell. So I don't know. I don't want to cast either story that they have, like his sister, the best friend, or the friend, and then the sister side of the story. But then also the guy is denying it. So who knows what is really true? But I don't know. There's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on here. So let me move on. They went out to lunch. He went out to lunch with his mother. And then let me see. This is LL Cool J's daughter. I didn't know they were like they're like super close friends, I'm assuming. And this is why I'm like, this is also a friend of his. And I'm like, okay, he seems to dress well. I'm just like, why are you not helping EJ out a little bit? I'm not understanding it. Okay, and then let me say 2510. This is where I started to see his sister's issues. I think it was this scene here.
Yeah, good luck.
We need good luck.
Oh.
Literally, EJ and I got into like another huge ass argument.
No way.
We did.
True.
No, you need to tell me.
This bench is freezing on my ass. No, yeah, I know. I don't want to mess up my relationship with my brother at all. He feels like I chose you over him. That's how he feels. My brother sees it as he was wronged. I feel like that's gonna push me away from you. I'm definitely torn between the guy that I love and my brother. It's hard for me because I want to see everyone happy. The only thing that's good is that like he's open to you coming to the party and like being civil, being cordial.
That's your party.
Okay, yeah, but at the same time, like if it's not my party, I still want him to be cordial and civil.
And listen, I agree with it could all be true. And the reason I agree with that is he could be bisexual, y'all. And he could swing both ways. And ultimately, he just made the choice to be with her. And that could be a thing in this situation. That could be a real thing in this situation. And maybe because you have to think about this was produced back in 2016. And I'm assuming this was maybe recorded back in 2015, maybe. And so maybe this man wasn't comfortable yet in how he's sexually fluid. You never really know because, you know, they could both be telling the truth. Everyone's point of view could be true, honestly, from their perspective. So who really knows? It's really hard to tell. The way I think this was on E. The way they edited it's I'm like, I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell.
Civil with you.
And who gonna be there?
Maya, my mom's coming, Jane, and like maybe Deej, and that's it.
That's crazy. Like,
Divine!
I'm not going to see my ex. I'm not confident with this DJ situation.
You can be.
Girl, why are you inviting your ex to your birthday party like that? That's crazy. This is when I started to see the cracks and some of the things she got going on with herself. I was like, oh, girl, I don't know about that. And then she talks about in the next episode that she doesn't like being alone. So I'm like, she kind of keeps people around just because she doesn't want to be alone. So do you believe? Is it that you deep down you believe what your brother is saying? Sister, is it that deep down you believe what your brother is saying, but for the sake of not being alone, not wanting to be alone, you dismiss what he's saying in the side of the story where this man kissed your brother?
Be friends with an ex-boyfriend. You can.
It's cool. It's cool.
Anthony should respect that this is someone that I spent over 4 years with. I just know that like we're always gonna be close. And anyone that I date has to be okay with the fact that like he's still in my life and I'm still in his life. Stop worrying about the what ifs. We already have enough against us, so why are you bringing another topic in that's irrelevant? I'm starting to feel like there's just so much drama that's like attached to this relationship with Anthony. I don't know if it's worth it. I really don't know if it's worth it.
All these guys, all these things, this ex, this relationship with these guys and this and... Wow.
Oh my God.
It's kind of crazy because I don't know how she found out that I don't know how and when she found out that she was adopted. because I do wonder, I do have that question because at first she didn't know and then they told her. So I don't, she may be struggling with abandonment issues. She kind of talks about that. So hold on. So it's hard, y'all. But then I felt like this was kind of emotionally abusive because on EJ's part, because he keeps bringing it up, knowing that it's something that is triggering for her and it's her birthday. So EJ does this thing where he kind of makes everything about himself and
And boob. But that's everything. I mean, your booty. That's a really good booty moment. I bet Anthony will like it.
EJ is really starting to get on my nerves with this Anthony thing, with his little comments here, his little comments there. I want him to stop. I want him to stop. I feel like I'm reaching my breaking point completely.
I'm so upset because like I know that like EJ's never ever get over the situation. Like the thing that stinks the most is that like I've actually developed true feelings for Anthony, and now that like I feel like I have to like completely detach. Like what I'm feeling right now is that like I have to detach myself from him. I can't live with the fact that EJ's not going to be okay with me being with someone. Like I have to have my family's approval.
Yeah,
I have to have my family's approval.
Because it's either you're gonna be with him and it will eventually just like not work out and you get back together with DJ or you get with some other guy and it's whatever, and then you're sitting there feeling stupid because you're like, I went through.
now, sister, why are you saying that it's not gonna work out? I wanted the friend to talk more. I really did. I was like, girl, what you know that we don't know? Why are you telling her that it may not even work out and you over here getting into it with your brother and then this all for nothing and then you may not even be with this man 2 months from now. Sister, what do you know? I never found out. I went digging. I never found it.
Through all this arguing with my brother for this guy that I'm not even with right now. And that's what I don't want to happen. Because then you have all this energy, like you have all this drama with your brother crying, all this stuff for this one person that you might not even be with next year.
Even though Maya definitely has a point,
that's a real friend. That's a real friend. That's a real friend. And I'm like, oh, why would her friend say that though? You know what I mean? Why would the friend say that? It's like, what do you see? What do you know? What do you know? So EJ may not be lying. Do you see why I'm like 50%? EJ may not be lying. He may be telling the whole truth and nothing but. Mm-hmm. And then this was her birthday. So the scene that you saw, the previous scene was her trying on her dress for her birthday, but then she didn't wear it. She wore this. So I was kind of confused. I was like, girl, didn't you do a try on? Maybe they just did that for the cameras. I don't know. But then this was her birthday.
A present?
You're a present. You look so bomb.
I like this.
Yeah, I know.
Matt made it.
EJ means everything to me. And when there's like a little crack, it really bothers me. So I want to fix things with my brother before everything gets crazy.
So all the BS aside and whatever, we're gonna turn up, we're gonna do the most, and we're going to kill it.
But speaking of BS, I'm feeling like I still at this point owe you an apology because like I know you felt like I wasn't there for you, and like I don't ever want you to feel like that because like at the end of the day, like if no one has your back and there's nobody there for you, I'm gonna be there for you.
No, I know.
Now listen, this is the part that was tricky for me to understand. Is she apologizing because deep down she knows that her brother was telling the truth, or is she apologizing because she's a people pleaser? You let me know in the comments.
No, and I think that that's really just what made me so emotional in the beginning, was just the fact that, that I just felt like you didn't have that, even though I knew you did have my back, but just like didn't come across that way. And then also I owe you an apology because like, I know that both of us are kind of like fire and fire. So like, obviously when we fight, like, we're just grabbing any bits of information.
And then EJ, why are you apologizing?
And say nasty things to each other just because like, we want to win the argument, and then at the end of the day it's just like, like that was really ugly and nasty of me to say. It was extremely important for Elisa and I to patch up this anger that we've had toward each other regarding Anthony. I really just want to see Elisa happy, and if he's making her that happy at this point in time, then I'll allow that to happen. But Anthony will be moving out of our apartment.
Allow that to happen? Do you see what I'm saying? It's like, do you see what I'm saying? Allow that to happen? Let me go. Did you hear what he said? See, it be like little slick remarks like that. You gotta listen to it. Let me see if I can go back.
Happy, and if he's making her that happy at this point in time, then I'll allow that to happen. But Anthony will be moving out of our apartment, effective immediately.
And I accept your thighs.
And I accept your...
And that's why I said that he comes across emotionally manipulative. And there's a part of me that believes that maybe he's lying. So you let me know what you think in the comments, because I feel like I provided a good case here that it could really go either way. But I do want to hear what you have to say, because I'm just really interested in knowing what you think. Okay. I'm trying to see if I can find the part where... Okay, here she's at therapy, and I feel like I need to play this. Okay, this is a pastor. This is a pastor. When I listened to this part, I think I was doing stuff, so I wasn't looking at my phone. But this is a pastor. This is not a clinical therapist or psychiatrist. So, but I felt like she gave really good advice, to be honest.
I'm good. When I was younger, EJ and I
She's opening up about how she struggles with being alone.
were always going to Sunday school. Our parents are Christian. Religion was a big part of our upbringing. Pastor Pauline, she is our pastor. She's always there if we need to call her to talk.
So tell me, what's going on?
Nothing. I'm trying to deal with myself.
I think it's kind of crazy how EJ says that his parents weren't out of the box thinkers, but their pastor is a woman. They seem a little progressive to me. I mean, maybe not progressive when it comes to their son, okay? But that's not that close-minded. I mean, I know some very close-minded people. I don't feel like his parents are that close-minded. So you let me know about that. I mean, this is a female pastor.
Just being by myself and just deal with trying to be alone. I think everyone who knows me very well knows that, like, I do not like being by myself. I can't really explain why, but that's just a big part of my life.
Why can't you be alone?
It's about, like, the need to...
And listen, I need to make it very clear that there are some women out here that's dealing with men that go both ways. And they know their man is on the low, but still stay in their marriage, and they still stay in their relationship because they don't want to be alone. She's not the first, and she will not be the last. So that's what I'm saying. Both scenarios are real scenarios that happen in real life. So who do you believe?
To be accepted, the need to feel wanted, but it was more so about the adoption. It was more
That's
so...
it. When you found out that you were adopted, everything's changed.
I was adopted when I was 3 days old, and then right around the age of 10, 11, like, I had a lot of questions as to why I looked different. And that's when I was like, to my mom, I was like, I really want to meet my birth mom. And she was always telling me that I had to wait until I was 18.
Tell me about when you met your mom, your biological mom. What happened?
It was just surreal, because it was like, this is actually the person that gave birth to me, and she's just as beautiful as she is outside as she is inside. And, like, that was my biggest, like, it was just, I was raised with, I have an amazing family that raised me. My dad's amazing, my mother's amazing. They're just such great people. And then to know that, like, my blood was like that, like, just the same. You can't ask for anything.
You can't.
You can't ask for anything. She completes my life. You know, I have 2 families.
Okay, so I just wanted to show you that part. Now let me show you this part, because EJ, well, I'm gonna just play.
These are really cute.
I'm gonna just play the scene. I'm not gonna tell you what she decided.
Do you have it in 8?
Yeah. Right.
Do not, when I tell you this, jump up and down and, like, run around the store and do the absolute most. Okay?
Okay.
I officially ended it with Anthony.
Woo! No, I'm kidding. I'm glad. I'm happy. But I mean, like, I just trying not to tell you I told you so, but I told you so.
Well, for me, although you don't really care, it was sad and it was hard.
No, I'm sure it was.
Because it was someone that, like, I did feel like I had a really close connection and close relation with.
Yeah,
I
I
need
just
to
think
focus.
that it's time that you really do need to focus on you and doing you and, like, living your life, because it's important. And, like, these are the best years of your life. Like, it's time to, like, you know, have fun, but also, like, you know, get ready to, like, you know, put your life in order and, like, get it together.
Yeah. I feel like a weight is lifted off of me, and it's like, like I can breathe.
So did he manipulate her into breaking up with this guy? Or was he telling the truth about what he experienced with the guy? Let me know. And the reason I showed you all of that. Let's get back to the episode. Hold on, this one. Let's get back to how he is attracted to straight men and only straight men. Hold on, wait. I'm going too far down. Hold on. I think it's like 56. It's 56, 55.
Well, he's like, I hate it. I can't stand it. And I was like, well, why does it bother you so much? And he's like, because like I have my own things going on and nobody wants to talk about that. We're just talking about this. We're just talking about him. And I was like, yeah, I used to feel that way until I, had to get, I put myself first in my own life. And then it didn't matter what anyone's saying to me on the street, But I mean, yeah, listen, it's one of those things where it's like a double-edged sword. Like you can't win. You can't win because on one hand you get the people who are like, oh my God, that's great. You have all this money and you have a leg up, or you can do whatever you want. But like, then you have the people who are like, well, you didn't work. Well, you didn't, especially like, the actors, like those kids who come from, who have huge parents are huge actors. Like they can't catch a break because on one side, everyone's loving it. On the other side, we're like, oh, well, you're taking roles away from people who've worked many, many years or being challenged by somebody living their truth or living their life the way they want. He's doing with her life at this point, but I wish her the best.
Yeah. Are you dating now?
I am outside. I'm definitely outside. I had to get a little more serious though, I think, in this new year for sure.
Oh damn, I could.
I think before I was kind of just like enjoying myself and kind of just like dating to date, but now I'm being much more strategic about it. And it's like, if we're not actually going to enter into a relationship, then, and I think that's where you have to put the boundaries up with.
And this is where he's delusional. You expect for a straight man to take you serious and to be in a relationship with you? And see, that's why when you really get into the mind of EJ and you get into his mentality, was he telling the truth when it came to his sister? I think back in 2016, when that reality show was out here, I think people probably did believe him. But after this interview, I think it's harder for people to believe his side of the story because this is how his mind works. This is his mentality.
The so-called straight guys, because they'll just try to like put you off to the side or like keep you in the dark, and like I'm not living in the shadows anymore.
Have you ever dated somebody that was DL?
Sure, for sure. I think at the time it's just like you just are like, oh well, I'm just trying to be respectful, but really you're not doing yourself any respect.
Were they married?
No, I've never dated a married man or anybody in a relationship. Okay. It's just like they just weren't ready to come to terms with whatever they were doing. But that's what I was saying. I don't need you to come out or anything, but it's like I'm not gonna be hidden. So there's that, and just having that self-respect and just knowing that. But it's made everything a lot easier, for sure.
Have you ever been in love?
I think like probably at the time I thought so, but not like now that I'm actually like emotionally available and actually can fall very hard in love if given the opportunity, not in the way that I want to.
I still don't think EJ is truly emotionally available because in order for you to be emotionally available, you have to be first vulnerable with yourself. And he's not ready to see himself from a vulnerable place. Like he's not ready to really see himself in that way. And so he can't be emotionally available. And this is why, like, and I always say this, that, Black women, I think we've done a really good job of not caring about when Black men date out of their race, especially when we know that the reason they do it is not all of them, but the ones I'm talking about. When they do, and it's coming from a place of self-hate, it doesn't matter who they date, they're never gonna get the best of them because they hate themselves. And that hatred really lacks vulnerability. And so no matter what woman they come into contact with, that woman is always gonna get the worst of him because he's not emotionally available. So it's just a full circle thing. So when it comes to EJ, it's hard to believe that he's emotionally available when he's not vulnerable within himself and he doesn't even have a safe space within himself to love himself and not hate himself, or to not hate a part of who he really is deep down. So I don't believe that he's all that emotionally available.
I haven't experienced it in the way that I want to. So like that's definitely something I put into the energy for this year for sure, because I'm ready. I wasn't ready before, and I think that was just kind of like the maturity of it, and just like looking out self, instead of saying like, "Oh, why hasn't this happened to me?" But it's like you weren't ready.
Yeah.
You weren't ready at all.
Do you have a type?
I don't really have like a strict type. I will say like I know I'm tall, but like I do like being with a tall man. Yeah, that I do. I like the sensation of that. But I'm also like very like intellectually inclined. Like I love a man who can hold himself and like speak well and like is entertaining and is like really highly intelligent. Like I'm a conversationalist like that. So like that kind of like especially, and also like a man with like a presence. Like I love a powerful presence. Like when you're like,
Okay, EJ is 6'2". Okay. The tall man thing was interesting. 6'2", and he wears heels.
ooh, he has it like that. Like I like that.
Have you ever dated like a celebrity?
I've never dated a celebrity, I don't think.
I'm just saying, like, as a tall girl myself, like I'm 5'10", with heels, I'm 6'2". It's hard out here. It's not as hard in Texas. Texas, they say everything's bigger here in Texas. There's a lot of truth to that, because there are tall women here, there are tall men here. There's just a lot of tall people here, period. Um, and I feel like New York would probably be a good place to possibly meet a tall man, but it limits things. Like he limits himself when it comes to his dating life, because he's really not that open. I mean, the man has to pass it straight, but secretly has to be into me, or has to openly be into me. I'm sorry, not secretly, openly be into me. He has to be tall, and it's a lot. It's a lot.
Well, I may have like hooked up with one or two in the shadows.
Rappers?
I can't tell you all the tea.
Okay. I know, baby. I know.
I don't think there was a rapper. Might have been.
Because listen, no, because look, you, baby, the places I go, you ain't there, honey, because you are at the like.
Well, that's the thing about, like, so too, is having celebrity crushes. Like, you can't do that, because I actually do meet these people. So like, and I've done that before, but like, oh, he is so fine. And then I meet him, I'm like, oh, like, oh no, like you are, very insecure, or you're very this, or you're very that. So it's like, I don't crush or glamorize anybody anymore.
And even like the rapper comment, 50-50%. I mean, I somewhat believe him, because these, especially the rappers today, girl, this would have been back in like 2000 Y2K era. I'd be like, please. But 2026, I mean, he may not be lying about it, and that's the thing. He may not be lying about it, and I don't put nothing past the man, so he may not be lying about it. He may be telling the truth.
More, because it's like I always end up, just being like, okay, no. It's like I'm just like, I'll just meet the person when it happens.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but yeah, I mean, it's different when you are, coming into contact with the people all the time.
And the thing about you have a presence.
I love having a presence, but I like a man with a presence as well. Like I like feeling somebody's like powerful masculine energy. Like it's very intoxicating. But I do have a powerful presence, which intimidates a lot of men, which is great. But because it keeps the ones at bay. But that's why I can't do the apps, because I can't gauge your energy through the phone. That's why I tried. But
So then that makes it even worse. Okay, see. Rewind. Okay, so Armand said that that is gay lingo. When gay men say straight men, they really mean DL or bi. Well, obviously, I mean, what else could it be? You know what I mean? But okay. But then when you think back to the sister, and the situation with the sister, was he mad that this bisexual man chose his sister over him? Because that's a scenario. And if that is the case, he was manipulative. He was emotionally manipulative and somewhat abusive towards his sister because she was chose over him. And then who's to say that when it comes to the friend, remember the friend that they both were like, "Oh yeah, we dated the same guy." Da 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 da. Did you manipulate her too in the same way you manipulated your sister?
But it's like I felt like they were so insecure, and just like it just like was not the vibe. But it's very important that I can gauge someone's energy when I meet them in person, because presence is important.
Well, and you have tons of it.
Yeah. Well, that's true.
You really do. I know you in a room, EJ. I know you be. I can already tell. The moment y'all lock eyes, it's over. Because you have you have a very smoldering like look in the eye, and I know you can eye fuck like a motherfucker.
And then this is another thing that I want to make a comment on as a heterosexual woman that's into heterosexual men only. It doesn't bother me when a man gets with another man. Like honestly, I feel like that's two grown adults and that's their choice. And the thing that like is mind blown to me, when another man gets with another man, ultimately it is because of what you have that I don't have. Like that's what it all comes down to. Is what you have, the tool that I don't have. You got the hammer, you got the screwdriver, hell, you got the whole tool belt. And I don't have none of that. I don't come with none of that. I mean, I could go to the store and get some stuff, but I'm saying like I naturally don't come with that, and that's okay. So that's another thing that I don't understand when it comes to his mindset is that other men are going to be attracted to you because of that. That's just what because they know that you have that. So I just don't understand like what's the problem? I don't understand why this is something that it seems like he struggles with about himself. I don't understand. I mean, you can still pass as like this gay feminine man, but ultimately that's what men are going to be attracted to. They're going to be attracted to that tool that you got down there. And if that wasn't the case, then they would be with a woman. Or maybe not. Hell, some of them may be sexually fluid where it don't even matter if you come with the tool belt or not. It's just about like that attraction, that energy, that chemistry, the vibe, the moment that you share, like maybe the intellect. Some people are sexually fluid in that way, but ultimately though, it come down to that tool down there, because you can scratch things that I can't scratch, or I just don't want to scratch.
I think they do that to me first, and then I might like glance back. But like that's how I always know when some man is because I always catch him staring, and then he like goes back. But like I always catch them staring. Like it's like because they're just like.
Okay, well, why are they staring though? See, now I see why the internet said he needs to be in a psych ward.
Do they have to, or
it's I need you to make an effort, because it's like every time I feel like when I go over and I'm like, because I played the game where I like find something stupid to compliment them about, even though like I'll be like, oh, I like your jacket, even though their jacket is ugly, and I'm and then it's like I feel like I get over there and then it's like he's
and then again, everyone sucks. No one can dress. I'm the baddest bitch in the room. I dress the best. Like even the men that he wants to find him attractive, he puts down. I'm like, does he ever uplift anyone? These are the worst people to be around. These are the worst people. You telling me there's nothing uplifting that can come out, like nothing that you offer that's uplifting? Who would want to be around you all day? I would hate to be around somebody like that. It's like everything is just like you put people and things down. Do you ever lift anything up? And you want me to believe that he is confident within himself when he's constantly putting others down? And I'm like, what? I want to get in your head and think about, like, I want to know what your real thoughts are, because it's easy to present this misthang confidence, but I'm like, damn, if you don't got nothing nice to say about other people, you can't have that many nice things to say in your mind about yourself. That conversation that goes on in your head that no one knows about and no one hears. That conversation. You want me to believe that it's only uplifting things? I don't believe that.
And I'm like, I don't have time for this. I don't want to do all the work. I'm not going to do all the work. I'm not even going to say I don't want to because I'm not going to do it.
Okay, so tall, masculine, available.
Yes, very available. Yeah.
Confident.
Confident. And I need you to like yourself, to love yourself. People are so mean to themselves these days.
I know, because of social media. Everyone's sort of
Yeah,
like
it's
comparing
very
themselves to
true.
people.
Yeah, it's
unfortunately.
I met some guys who are just like so mean to themselves. I'm like, Jesus, like.
This is crazy coming from him because he's very mean. Hold on. This was projection. Let me go back. This was just nothing but projection.
Masculine, available.
Yes, very available. Yeah.
Confident.
Confident. And I need you to like yourself, to love yourself. People are so mean to themselves these days.
I know, because of social media. Everyone's sort of
Yeah,
like
it's
comparing
very
themselves to
true.
people.
Yeah, it's
unfortunately.
I met some guys who are just like so mean to themselves. I'm like, Jesus, like.
Now, you are EJ fucking Johnson, so do they have to have a coin?
Well, I need to be taken care of, obviously. I mean, if I could,
I mean, but ain't your money.
if I could, well, I'm not taking care of anyone. Like, I'm not a sugar mama. No, like, I don't, that the girls, you don't marry to take care of him. Like, he's marrying to take care of you. I mean, it just depends on what you want, but he's not marrying into my system. We're getting married and starting our own system. It's different. But I to be clear about that. But like, I don't want to be like just only thinking about money, but like it is something that, I guess a lot of people spend time like obsessing.
And it's so crazy because I think he could find someone, but he's so mean. Like he puts people down so much that I don't even think he would be able to be in a long-standing committed relationship. And it's not because of how he looks and the fact that he's a gay man. It has everything to do with his personality and it just sucks. It just sucks. I mean, his personality is snooty, it's snobby. It's I look down on people. And it's like nobody wants to be in a relationship with someone like that. It don't even matter what your sexuality is, what you identify as. Like it has nothing to really do with that. It's just you have a sucky ass personality. Very negative.
Over. But honestly, again, it's not like I'm looking for that. But again, it's like you said before, these are the rooms I'm in. So everyone's either born into a coin or made their coin. The coins are there. The rooms are made of coins. So.
And then another thing too, the reason why I didn't take what EJ was saying about how he's the baddest bitch in the room is because when I think of the rooms that he's in, is Mar-a-Lago, Palm Beach. Have you seen those rooms? Don't make me bring up the receipts. Don't. So he probably is the baddest. So there's some truth to what he's saying. He probably is. Have you seen those women? Have you seen them? I'm being for real, y'all. I'm being so dead ass. I'm like, well, yeah, in those rooms, absolutely. Go look up Palm Beach, members only Palm Beach on Netflix. Those are the rooms that EJ is talking about. So
it's like I don't have to like go out of my way to find financially substantial men. That's all I'm saying.
What are your thoughts on this? Like you touched on it a bit earlier, the whole like Nepo baby. And listen, and I've said this publicly, there's nothing more than I love seeing rich black kids. Because I feel like, good. Because you don't see it often. And when you see it, and I feel like it should be celebrated more. I love rich black kids. Because I'm like, good. Your parents work their asses off. You have a good life. And take that shit and continue to build a generational wealth. But obviously, there's another side globally where people do feel like you didn't earn this. And, listen, let's call it out. A lot are jealous. And a lot of them just feel like it's easy for you guys. What are your whole thoughts on that?
Well, like I said, it's not easy. It's like, it's not easy. Because I'm just saying either way, like I was saying about the shadow, it's like the same complaint or the same difficulties arrive even if your parents are not even famous, they're just very wealthy. Like, you still have a shadow to work under. And like, I didn't even realize that. But like, I was talking to a guy whose dad was, they're older money, but like also his dad was like, you know, a very well-known producer. And he was like, I hate it. I hate when everyone is like, oh, like I worked with your dad and he was great, or I did this with your dad and he was wonderful. He's like, I hate it. I can't stand it. And I was like, well, why does it bother you so much? And he's like, because like I have my own things going on and nobody wants to talk about that. We're just talking about this. We're just talking about him. And I was like, yeah, I used to feel that way until I, you know, had to get, I put myself first in my own life. And then it didn't matter what anyone's saying to me on the street, you know. But I mean, yeah, it's, I mean, like it's,
He may have you know how sometimes you overcorrect? Like, I think he may have overcorrected in that area within himself of, oh, what no one else says or does matters, or what they think of me matters. I think he may have overcorrected on that just a tad. But let me show you what I'm talking about when it comes to Palm Beach, Florida.
This members only show when she fell, when Gail fell, and her wig came off. When Gail fell and her wig came off, and she was talking all that shit. It's so messy. I have, but I can't look away.
Sit down and stand for a bit. I can't. My head's
That's what she get for talking all that shit. Girl, that's a mess. This is embarrassing. Ooh, girl, that's a mess.
Gail, if you watch Members Only Palm Beach, Gail in that wig, that's his competition, y'all. I'm not even exaggerating.
Ooh.
Let's get a closer look so you can see what I'm talking about.
Okay, now that I finished Members Only Palm Beach, this is what I think about each cast member.
This is what they look like. And you gotta go watch it because
Hillary seems kind of like it was a little brat.
These photos, it makes them look better, but when you see them on camera, you be like, oh my God. A lot of Botox, a lot of lip fillers, a lot of makeup, very heavy makeup. It's awful. Just go look. Just go look. So when he talks about the rooms that he's in, like that's what he's referring to. So I'm not about to be offended. I mean, you do look good when we consider, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You do look good. You probably are the baddest in the room. For real. Because I'm like, ooh, because that's the circles that he's in. Those are the elite circles. So he may not even be lying about that, y'all. I know the internet, you got to think about classism. You got to think about elitism. You got to think about those spaces and the spaces that he's in. So it's like, I'm not about to be mad about that. You probably do look better. You probably are the baddest in the room. I ain't gonna be mad.
Listen, it's one of those things where it's like a double-edged sword. Like you can't win. You can't win because on one hand you get the people who are like, oh my God, that's great. You know, you have all this money and you have a leg up, or you can do whatever you want. But like, then you have the people who are like, you know, well, you didn't work. Well, you didn't, especially like, you know, the actors, like those kids who come from, you know, who have huge parents are huge actors, like they can't catch a break. Because on one side, everyone's loving it. On the other side, we're like, oh, well, you're taking roles away from people who've worked many, many years to, you know, be an actor. And now you're just coasting on, you know, riding it on some coattail. But it's like, that's something I can't control. I can't control who my parents are. Like, I didn't control who my dad was. Like, I just was born and that was it, you know? So it's like, it's all you get it from both ends. But like, I don't really think about it. But I, you know, for myself, even as I'm like, acting is definitely on the top of my list for this year to get into way more of. But like in my time off, I've been in acting classes, and I told myself, I was like, your
job, like did a wonderful job, but
some show. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Like we need that. We need it. One place where we really do need it. We need it on White Lotus. We need a rich black bitch, like really badly.
Okay, so I think I'm done. I think I went through everything that I wanted to cover. But I wanted to add a little more context to some of the things that I really feel like EJ is struggling with. So he states in this interview that he doesn't attract gay men and he isn't attracted to them, but it really highlights his like self-worth stagnancy for me. and his quote unquote identity shift that he went through, because it's being based off of him not accepting a part of himself that is a part of who he is. It's a part of himself in ways that he cannot change, which to me is showcasing like really deep rooted self-hate. And I pose the question, why is it that when men struggle with self-hate, they always target women when they do? It doesn't matter if it's a straight man or a gay man or a bisexual man, the woman is always the target. I want someone to highlight that. We tend to be the targets for their projections. So projection could be jealousy, projections could be triggers, projections could be insecurities, projections could be shortcomings, projections could be jealousy. It could be a lot of different emotions like disappointment, regret, resentment. Anytime a man is dealing with self-hatred issues, we tend to be the target at all times. So another thing is he talks about his straight attraction. So to me, EJ has this internalized devaluation where he seeks validation from men who identify as straight or frequent straight spaces, but he's looking for like a specific kind of masculine approval though. Like that's part of the, like he wants to be he wants to get the approval from straight passing men. And once he gets that approval, he'll feel pure, like he'll feel like he has made it and now he's someone. And it's kind of sad to watch. So internally he devalues himself, and I don't even think he realizes that, because he makes it a point that he's only straight attracted. So I'm like, well, how do you expect for people to be attracted to you if you're only straight attracted and you look down on people that are not straight attracted when technically you're not? You know what I'm saying? It's kind of crazy. So EJ, he also seeks validation in love, and the one place where it's most likely to be conditional or hidden. So he will always be in the position of like a side chick, and this is why like he says, oh, I'm emotionally available, but it's like you can't be emotionally available if you're only attracted to straight attracted men. And most times in those dynamics, you're gonna be loved conditionally, or it's gonna be a hidden type of connection, meaning you're not gonna get the recognition, or at least the public recognition of your relationship at all. It's gonna be a hidden connection. And so he says that he's emotionally available and ready, but really his choices showcase that he's really not. So also, he is extremely detached from reality and has a vision for his next level of fame and his next fashion moment, the global identity that he really wants, where he talks about later, like he really wants to be like this household name, but he's disconnected from his current emotional foundation, and that will continue to keep him stagnant. So like, he wants to pop out and he wants to be like this household name, but I don't even think that he understands that his self-worth stagnancy, which is linked to his emotional stuntedness, it also connects to why he's not where he really wants to be within his career. And yes, sometimes emotionally you can hold yourself back. Sometimes when you don't do the inner work on yourself emotionally, you can hold yourself back in ways where you're looking or you're trying to garner success. And I don't think that he realizes that. Also, EJ uses this whole miss thing, and again, to me, it's just a mask. To me, it's also it has to be exhausting, because the upkeep of his image and his choice to romantically chase like a phantom to avoid the vulnerability of being seen and loved for who he really is. And that's another thing, is the deep rooted issue with him being attracted to straight gay men, or I'm sorry, straight men only, is that it requires him to be vulnerable. It requires him to show real vulnerability, that he loves himself and he is who he is and he loves that. I mean, it's kind of easy to still be attracted to someone that's going to keep you either in a conditional state of love or a hidden form of love, because again, you're putting yourself there with that person because you refuse to be vulnerable. You refuse to really be available. You're avoiding that vulnerability because deep down it really gives self-hate. I'm sorry. It just does. It does. It gives self-hate. That's what it is. And so he's attracted to the men that he's attracted to that will keep him hidden and the love will be conditional because deep down he still is struggling with self-hatred issues when it comes to who he is and who the family that he was born into. These are things that he is still struggling with. Now, when it comes to EJ, you know, the conversation was brought up about his sister, and the conversation was brought up about, is he jealous of his sister? In my opinion, I believe he is. And my reasonings for that is because, and I wrote some points down that I don't think people are really considering. It's so easy to say, oh, that person is jealous of another person. But I really want to put more context behind why I believe this. So his sister receives the traditional or easy validation. And remember when I said earlier in this live, I feel like he has that comparison jealousy. So typically when someone is jealous of another person, they tend to view the things that may come to you naturally or come to you through hard work, because being a woman is hard work, y'all. Give the video a thumbs up if you feel like being a woman is hard work. So he thinks, though, that because his sister receives that traditional or easy validation, that he typically has to fight for it. Like the type of validation, the traditional validation that he wants and that he's seeking, he has to fight for that validation. So he may view it from his point of view that the validation, the traditional validation that his sister is a woman and is seen as feminine, that's something that he has to work extremely hard for. So yes, when it comes to that, it does give the undertone that he may be jealous of his sister. And again, this is strictly my opinion. So another thing too is it has to be annoying to be siblings with a sister, and she's like a constant reminder. She mirrors that you're different, that even though you're trying to embody this feminine, womanly public persona, energy, your sister is like a constant reminder that you're different. The way that people interact with her versus how people interact with you, and it's just like a natural thing, right? Like it's just it's natural, and it doesn't matter how hard he tries, he will never be validated traditionally in the way that his sister is, because she was just born a woman. Like that, facts are just facts. And I don't even think that people are being mean or people are doing it intentionally. I think people are doing it because she's a woman and he is dressing as a feminine woman, but really a feminine man. You know what I'm saying? Like we be keeping it real, feminine man. So he wants the traditional validation that his sister gets. So to have that mirror constantly, that has to be very triggering for him, for sure. Also, EJ, and another reason why I believe that he's jealous of his sister is because EJ has to work harder for his public image and persona. His sister wakes up as a woman. It doesn't matter if she's having a bad hair day. It doesn't matter if she has 5 pimples and a breakout on her face. It doesn't matter if she's struggling with hyperpigmentation. It doesn't matter if she gains 20, 30 pounds. She's a woman. She's a woman. She was woman. She's a woman. So because of that, she doesn't really have to put much effort into her public image. She could just wake up as a woman. Whereas he has to put in a lot of effort to be seen as feminine and to pass as a woman. And I believe that when it comes to public images, her public image comes easy or naturally, and his public image is something that he has to work extremely hard for. So he may view his sister's life as more seamless, which leads to resentment. And EJ is forced to perform this femininity to maintain the status that he is a woman, or he is at least at minimum a feminine man, whereas his sister simply exists. So that is where jealousy could easily grow. Also, his sister doesn't have to face the harsh public opinions and criticism that he faces when it comes to him choosing to be black and gay and male, because that's huge. And when it comes to the black community, his family, and the expectations that they had for him before he was really even born, when they named him EJ, I'm pretty sure his parents really had like expectations for him to meet, and he naturally didn't fit those expectations because it just didn't align with his true self. And listen, that's real. But ultimately, again, his not his woman, his sister is the one that is really being targeted, though, when it comes to this deep rooted frustration. And as a heterosexual woman, I can empathize with that. Maybe it's because I'm a nurturer. I don't know. Not enough to allow disrespect, but I can empathize with him being deeply frustrated, but I cannot empathize with the fact that he projects this quality or these qualities onto his sister. So the frustration, the jealousy, the envy, maybe even the resentment, the disappointment. So he most likely views her life as easier because she doesn't have to constantly fight she doesn't have to constantly fight the controversy or the public criticism to just exist, where I'm sure she may deal with other type of criticism, just being linked to her dad in the public eye, but she doesn't face nearly the level of criticism that he faces. And that's something that he may envy about his sister as well. So his sister becomes a huge target for his projections, especially if they're close. And it looks like they are close because it looks like when it comes to EJ, he has a lot to say. So he has a lot of influence when it comes to his sister. So she probably is a huge target for his projection. And it's not just women, it's his sister first. So also EJ shows signs that he is cutting, manipulative, and emotionally cold towards his sister. That was something that I noticed in the reality show, which was why I'm like, I don't know who to believe, because he was very sharp with his tongue. And typically he tends to be overly critical of his sister to mask his jealousy and his insecurities, because he really wasn't vulnerable with his sister. I think that if he would have showed a little vulnerability over being sharp with his tongue and hypercritical, I think maybe the sister would have taken his side. But it's the approach that he had when it came to his sister, and the situation or the side of the story that he told when it came to the boy or the guy that they both found both found themselves interested in. If he would have showed a little humility, vulnerability, I think that maybe his sister would have ultimately taken his side. But it was because he came across with a sharp tongue. He was overly critical, and he was kind of putting her down in the process because he felt slighted, which I could kind of understand. But again, it's like, you could have approached her better. But when you look at this interview dynamic, it doesn't really seem like he has any empathy or humility when it comes to other people, because he deeply doesn't have it for himself. So typically when you see people have like sharp tongues or they're overly critical of others, it's because they're overly critical of themselves. They tend to be very negative within themselves, and they tend to have a very sharp tongue with the conversations that they have in their head about themselves that you never hear and that you don't know about. Also, like I said, when it comes to the comparison jealousy, the signs for comparison jealousy, and the reason why I wanted to talk about this was because I wanted you all to understand that, there's different forms of jealousy. And I believe that the one that his sister is dealing with is the comparison jealousy. You may be dealing with this in your personal life when it comes to your own sister, or maybe a brother, or maybe a cousin. Who knows? It could even be a coworker. You could be dealing with it at work. So again, in psychology, comparison jealousy is often referred to as the social comparison envy. It is when a person is in distress or resentment, or is in a state of resentment that arises when they measure their own worth. And I believe he's comparing his worth to his sister, success as well, and then also life circumstances against someone else. And then they find themselves feeling, or they may feel like they lack. So like when they are comparing themselves to another person, again, self-worth, success, and then just life circumstances, they may feel like they're lacking. And so if they wouldn't have made that comparison, then most likely they wouldn't feel that way. But because they made that comparison, that's where the jealousy starts to come in. So signs that someone is struggling with comparison jealousy, whether you're on the receiving end or you may be the one struggling with it, you or the person is you tend to minimize others. You downplay another person's success. You downplay another person's life circumstances. You may think that what they have, or you may think that the life that they have came easy to them. You may downplay their success like they got lucky. You may also minimize their own insecurities that they may have. They just may not project it onto you, but they may have their own insecurities. But because you minimize them, you kind of downplay just about any part of their life. And this is another thing, too, that I noticed about jealous people that do this comparison thing. They're highly delusional. And it's something that I'm going to talk about more in my jealousy video that I'm going to do. Another sign that a person is struggling with comparison jealousy, they have a sharp tongue. Again, they use wit. They use comedic remarks. They use a lot of, but the undertone is criticism. And then they also use criticism to level the playing field. And then they try to poke holes in your personality. They try to poke holes in your life. They try to poke holes in maybe who you're dating or your love life. They try to poke holes in different areas of your life and maybe your identity, who you are as a person, to make themselves feel like the playing field is leveled. Because again, the whole reason they're comparing themselves is because they feel like they lack. But again, that's not your fault. And it's not the other person's fault, because it's just like, well, it's the person that's projecting this. It is your fault, because you have to be accountable within yourself. You have to have better self-awareness, and you have to know how to manage your insecurities, because jealousy comes from insecurities. You feel like you're lacking, so now you're projecting the jealousy. But the issue is that you can't just assume that a person's life is this way just because it makes you feel better. You may be putting yourself in a very delusional state of mind just to cope with your insecurities, and there's a healthier way of doing that. Also, someone that is struggling with comparison jealousy, they tend to hyperfixate. So they constantly monitor the other person's life to find flaws that make them feel better about their own life. And again, that was something that I noticed with EJ when they were in I think it was the shoe store, and they were sitting down and they were having that conversation. And then EJ wanted to give this long lecture about how, you need to do this, and, you need to just be single, and you need to live your life, and you just need to do this, and you need to do that. And it's like, a part of me wants to be like, okay, there's some truth to what he's saying, but it's like, are you hyper fixated on her choices and her life and all of this stuff? Is your sister comfortable with coming to you, giving you the same type of constructive criticism? And this is another thing. It's hard to take criticism from someone that doesn't take it themselves. And so, is he fixated on her life in a negative way, or is he just a concerning brother looking out for his sister? It's hard to tell. But when you struggle with comparison jealousy, you tend to hyperfixate, constantly monitoring the other person's life to find flaws. So it seems like he knew all of her flaws when it comes to her life and her choices and what she needs to do with her life. So I found that to be interesting. Also, people that are struggling with comparison jealousy, they perform success. So they tend to be very performative when it comes to their accomplishments, their accolades, anything that they feel will put them above others. So they tend to overextend themselves to outdo other people. And it often leads to them burning themselves out, because they're trying to prove, because they're in a delusional state that, oh, I'm in competition with this other person. I'm in competition with this other person. And the whole time they're really competing with a facade or an idea that they created in their mind that may not even be true about the other person's life. So that's another thing. And then again, this could lead to a person burning themselves out because the motivation is external, it's not internal. So if the motivation is only external and it's not internal, it's not going to last at all. So I wanted to break that down a little bit. I don't want to just do these trendy topics just because I'm talking about the gossip. I do want to do a breakdown and educate my audience when it comes to the mess. And I feel like a lot of people nowadays are dealing with comparison jealousy. I mean, you have social media, and it's really crazy. Like, people really paint this idea about your life, and it may not even be true on two sides, right? There's one coin, and there's this side, and then there's the flip side. On one hand, you may view a person's life, and the fantasy that you have created in your mind about that person's life may not even be true. So your jealousy is there for no reason, because that person's life is not perfect, but you're putting yourself in a delusional state to think and to fantasize about their life in a way that's not even true, and it's not real. And you're doing that to yourself. You're doing that to yourself. You're making yourself feel bad because you created a fantasy about someone else's life that's not even true. Then on another hand, right, the person that may be struggling with jealousy may be creating these false narratives that's rooted in flaws about a person's life, and they actually are happy. They actually are doing well in life. They are. And you're still putting yourself in that delusional space mentally to think negatively about another person's life, and they are actually doing well in life. Everything is going well for them. They genuinely are happy. It's not a performance. They really are successful. There are a lot of great things going on in their life, but you're putting yourself in a delusional state to convince yourself that this is true about their life, because you have to convince yourself that they are super flawed to a level that is not true at all. It's delusion. And you're doing that because of your own insecurities. So it makes you look crazy. And when you talk to other people from this place, not everyone catches on at first, but eventually you end up exposing yourself, and you end up exposing how jealous you are of the other person, because you keep making these negative remarks and they're delusional, but you've put yourself in that delusional state and you've convinced yourself that it's true, and it's not. And so when you share those thoughts with other people, you make yourself look crazy. So that's what EJ did on this podcast. He made himself look crazy because he is in a delusional state. Why? I believe it's because he is jealous not only of his sister, he is jealous because he has comparison jealousy when it comes to women as a whole. His sister is a target because she is in a close proximity, intimate relationship with EJ. But ultimately, this comparison jealousy is something that he struggles with when it comes to all women. So that's all I wanted to say regarding this video. Let me know what you think about EJ Johnson now that I maybe gave you, I don't know, maybe a deeper understanding of why he is the way that he is. And it's just strictly my opinion. But I did a lot of research to back up what I'm saying. I mean, we saw the reality show. We saw how he treated his sister on that reality show. We saw this interview, and I really want to know, what do you think? Do you think that he told the truth about what happened with his sister's ex? Or do you think that that's a story that he made up because he didn't like the fact that maybe the man was bisexual or sexually fluid, and he decided to be with the woman over him, to be with his sister over him? And that was something that he didn't want to deal with or face daily because, well, that's his sister and that's her boyfriend, and I would have to see that constantly. The fact that he felt the need to, get a hotel and everything, I mean, that kind of said a lot. And then, do you think that maybe there's some truth to the story? That maybe all parts of the story is true, and that maybe he was just bisexual or sexually fluid and he ended up just going with the sister? Let me know what you think, because honestly, it could go either way. Do you think EJ is jealous of the sister, and why? I want to know why. I want to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope to see you in my next one.
This is my opinion. I'm free to state my opinion anytime I like, right? Thank you.
I don't want you to feel like that, but yeah, feel like that.
This is my opinion. I'm free to state my opinion anytime I like, right? Thank you.
I don't want you to feel like that, but yeah, feel like that.